Alright, good evening everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. So I hope you all have had a nice couple of weeks off for the break. I'll say we're back for a exhibition race before we start the season up next week. And we are here tonight with the Dark Horse Racing Area 51 series here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And this is going to be a longer one tonight. 120 laps is the race distance, 300 miles. So there's going to be a lot of strategies that are going to be able to unfold throughout the course of this race. It's going to have a little over 20 drivers, it looks like, taking part in the grid. 68 degrees is the ambient temperature, 109 track temperature. And so it's not just for fun here tonight. There is gonna be some prizes on the line here. There are going to be surprises on the line here, I should say, for these drivers here this evening. So we'll pull that up right now as well. So you can see right here, so right off the bat, pole sitter is going to get $10 into their pocket. And then for the race itself, first place $60, second place $20, third place $10. So I'll say there's definitely a lot to be going after here tonight, for obviously in qualifying as well as in the race itself. And right now, a lot of drivers putting down some qualifying laps right now. We've got some pretty close times right now. It looks like right now I see very close, if not a tie, for pole position right now in the top two. So I won't spoil who's where and all that, but it should be a lot of fun. So yeah, so again, really want to thank you all for supporting us here at Green White Checker TV, and of course with Dark Horse Racing, Area 51 Racing League, and also ESTV, able to do a little bit of kind of multicasting here with us on YouTube, ESTV on their Facebook page. Not broadcasting over there on their YouTube and on Twitch because they got some other stuff going on there, so I didn't want to kick those guys off. But yeah, I really appreciate everything that we're able to do with those guys as well. It's a lot of fun to kind of get it out there to more places. So we got about 2 minutes left in qualifying. So it looks like we've had about 13 drivers make a lap. So we'll say that's going to be the next question, of course, is some drivers may be opting to wait to the very end to put down their qualifying laps. And then also other drivers also might be just trying to opt towards the back, potentially expecting some chaos early on. Just trying to keep that car clean and see if they can make it to the end. So it should be a lot of fun to see how it's all going to pan out this evening. And while they just about are complete qualifying, again, about a minute and a half to go. So I'm going to bring in one of our usual regulars with the Indy Series to say he's opting to take a break tonight to be able to help me out in the booth, which is greatly appreciated. One of our Championship 4 in last season, hoping to be doing the exact same thing this season. And that is going to be the number 11 of Matt Wagner. So Matt, always a pleasure to have you with me here when I'm not broadcasting for you. Always fun to have you in the booth. So yeah, so longer race tonight, 120 laps here, so these drivers are going to have to be patient. There's a lot of time, a lot of things can happen throughout the course of this one, and really could also open up some potential pit strategies throughout the race here too.
Yeah, I've learned last season pit strategy can and will bite you. It almost got me first place last year, saving a lot of fuel. It was very stressful, but in the end, it was well worth it. I can't wait to see these drivers duke it out here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun to see what they've got in store for us this evening. So I mean, let's say you go to Indy. I mean, I'd say that's kind of, if you're going to be running these cars, to say if you're going to do a fun race, this is pretty much the track that you want to do it at. So it just works so well with these cars, just the way it's built, the way it's laid out. Even with these cars, you've got the draft, you can get that momentum, you can make the passes on the inside, on the outside. You don't have to worry about just trying to hug that inside line. So I think that's going to be another part as well that we'll be able to see some good action throughout the course of this race for making some moves here throughout the field.
Yeah. And as we're getting through here, looking at the starting grid here, when you go through it, we have see a familiar face on pole.
Yeah, so you are spot on there, and so we will go ahead and we'll jump over to that here. And like you said, our pole sitter tonight is going to be. Let me hide that first. Got to get all the cobwebs kicked out here. It's going to be Andrew Wood on pole position. Say, like you said, very familiar with that number 64 machine. To say those races he ran, he was always up front, always contending. And then you see in second place Henry Bennett, only 0.04 of a second off. And you see Charles T. That's the one I was talking about. They were right on top of one another for that second position. Then you got Nick DeGroot there in fourth. And he is only 0.02 of a second off of Charles T. Then you got Tim Doyle rounding out the top 5. And then 6th through 12th, you've got Ryan Kelly, Ty Richter, Navarre Luce. So I'm probably butchering some of these names. Unfortunately, I don't recognize all of them. Some of them are new. You got AJ Hobson, Gary Corley, Alec Coates, John DiMatteo. We'll continue down here. We got David Leclerc, Bob Fitzgerald, Alberto Lopez, Michael Spell, Jeff Heisong, Jack Walls, Craig Forsyth, Joseph Morales, and then you got Jim Brooks, Thaddeus McMurray, Joe McAdory, William George. And I believe that's going to be the 24 drivers taking part. So far, it looks like we've got 22 on the grid here. A few haven't snuck in as of yet. We'll see if those last couple drivers hop in. But yeah, so right now, though, it's going to be Andrew Wood, though, getting that pole position, which, again, I say, for those that have watched last season, we saw the races that Andrew was in. He was definitely one to contend with each and every week. So we got some pretty heavy hitters here right off the top, this top 4, top 5 here, Matt.
Yes, we do. We have our Xfinity Series champion here, Ryan Kelly. I'm quite interested to see what he can do in IndyCar. Hopefully he can prove me wrong. We ran a race last week and he was very strong. I'm see what we can do here. Also, Tim Doyle. I've ran with him back in the day. He is very quick. He is a name you're probably going to hear at the end as well.
Yeah, and then you got some names that we definitely expect to see towards the front of the field, towards the end of the race, opting to start towards the back tonight. One of those being Craig Forsyth in the 27 car. I think we'll see him work his way up throughout the course of the race. So he's usually one that kind of pulls some strategy. But again, it's a long race here tonight, so I don't think we're going to see some drivers kind of go show their full hand until it really starts to get close to the end of this race. Again, like you said, Matt, over the course of this race here, like I said, the fuel window, it's got a pretty wide range here at Indy. Say it could be in the low 20s if you're going full rich, or as you were able to do in, last season and the finale, you can go up to about 27, 28 laps. And I mean, you do that over a course of 120 laps. I mean, that's going to really change what the pit strategy is going to be here tonight.
Yeah, that is very extreme fuel saving. And make sure you don't miss that draft because it's very important here. Yeah,
exactly right. So we'll have to see how it's all going to pan out. You see everybody's getting lined up here 2 by 2. Again, 120 laps is the race distance this evening. So I believe for this exhibition race, cautions will be based off of iRacing. To say in the regular season, they will be having the in-race admin to kind of make the calls on the cautions if they stays green, if the cautions come out. So I'll say that could definitely play a role here. Again, some new names, some new faces. Let's say there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for some of these guys. But say again, expect to see some pretty good racing here as the pace car is just about to duck off here. That's going to put it into the hands of Andrew Wood on the inside, Henry Bennett on the outside. As we wait for that green flag to fly, and we will get things underway here. As I say, green flag is out. 120 laps here at Indianapolis, and we are green. Oh, we got one up in the wall early here, so it's going to probably, I would suggest, probably bring out the yellow. I think it was Alberto Lopez, actually, that got the wall, and I don't think the caution has come out. So we're going to try to see if I can hunt back where he is here. Oh, heavy damage to that car. I'll try to take a look and see what exactly happened here. You see him on the inside line. Looks like Bob Fitzgerald also caught up in this one. You see him looking to the inside. And I think probably just gets loose here as they're trying to build up speed. Oh, no, actually, someone gets really just goes straight up into the side of him. And for Alberto, nothing he could do that. I think it was probably actually Bob Fitzgerald who was the one that, yeah, something happened to Bob and he got into Alberto. And so, unfortunately, those two took really big shots early on.
Now the yellow's
now
out.
Caution's out, yeah. It looks like that might be with John DiMatteo, it looks like. Oh, actually, it was not. Yeah, it was actually, yeah. Let me go back here.
Yep. Looks like a little bit of aero push.
So I was focused on the wrong car here. Now we're focused on John. Yeah, you can see he's running kind of the middle top groove. And then, like you're saying, Matt, just right on the exit, that thing just goes straight across the track here. Say, oh yeah, just catches the outside wall, and that's just enough. He has so much wheel cranked into it, it's just going to send the car straight across to the infield here, and then heavy contact with the inside wall, and of course that's just going to ricochet him right back up across the track, across the field here. And this is the danger of maybe trying to start from the pits. You see Craig Forsyth just avoids it. You see also there Jack Walls just thinking by Jim Brooks as well, but definitely a pretty hard hit there for John. But it looks like everybody else able to get by on that, so that is going to be, though, a big break, though, for some of these drivers that were in the pits, like Bob Fitzgerald, Alberto Lopez, having to take those tows. Now not going to lose as many laps here under caution, so I think that could be a big break for these two as they sit in pit road. But right now it's still Andrew leading the way here, so he didn't focus a lot up front there with everything going on around the track. But right now it's still Andrew Wood leading Henry Bennett. And you mentioned Ryan Kelly, our Premier Series champion on Thursday last season, works his way up all the way into third here.
It looks like John made it back to the pit, so you don't have to tow. That's pretty good break for John there. Yeah, he's going to have to watch the aero push. Probably a little bit more positive on the weight jacker, and he'll learn as he goes along.
Yes, and that's actually something that I'm sure will be very useful to have you on board with. This is those adjustments you can make on the car, of course, with these DW or not DW12s, IR18s. You can adjust the weight jacker, you can adjust the front ARBs, the rear ARBs. I mean, how much do you plan on? How much adjustments do you typically do during the course of a race? Making those adjustments in clean air, dirty air, either with the weight jacker or the ARBs. Is one maybe more aggressive of an adjustment than the other?
This certain setup I've ran a couple test laps with. It is not that bad in clean air. Not really much weight jacker is needed. You could probably move your rear bar to about down a little bit more, but when you're in dirty air or you're a bunch of traffic, I would probably go positive 5 on your weight jacker, which is pretty much you're forcing the weight of the car from the rear to the left front, so that way you'll counterbalance the aero, so you don't fight the aero push.
Yeah, so yeah, because that's gonna be something that a lot of drivers may not be as familiar with. Do need to mention that I believe Alberto Lopez still either in the pits or possibly retired. I'll have to double check there. But I am noticing, I believe Bob Fitzgerald may have retired, as has. Oh no, I'm sorry. There's John here. Like I said, he got his fast repair done. And he's back on track. Not seeing Bob on track. Not sure, he may have retired from the event in the 08 in the 08 machine. You see Alberto still sitting in pit road here. The car looks like it's got the repair. No, actually, I'm sorry. It's still missing that right front. So I'll have to see if he's able to get rolling again. But yeah, so right now, though, I believe we're showing 20 cars on lead lap. John DiMatteo did get put down a lap here. However, I believe is the only car one let down. So that's going to be a big break for him. And I had a few cars, not a lot, but a few cars opt to go ahead and hit pit road here. Under that caution, maybe just put that little bit of extra fuel in the tank. Again, try to get some off-strategy decisions going on here. So you see the lights are off on the pace car, so we'll get going again next time around. I see Joe McAdory, Thaddeus McMurray, and John DiMatteo all opting to go ahead and hit pit road here. Looks like top off on this one to go.
As it's a smart thing to do. I probably expected Craig Forsyth to do that.
Yeah, he did pit, but yeah, he did not top off. Jack Walls also pitted along with him. Again, I mean, they're going to gain, that was maybe, 2 laps under green, something like that. So they might gain about, I mean, under green flag, this may be what, maybe half a gallon to a gallon range, I'm guessing?
He didn't lose much spots at all. He pretty much stayed where he started now. He's up 2 spots.
I'll say actually, Craig. Yeah, I was gonna say right now he's a net gain of 2 spots from where he started, even with him pitting there. So I'll say not a bad position to be in there. Right now, I'll say really the biggest climber up front is Ryan Kelly. You mentioned him in the 13 car, our Premier Series champion. So maybe seeing what these Indy cars have in store for him. Maybe he can find something he wants to do over there. So obviously very different for him. I'll say all you can adjust over there was the brake bias. As I here, of course, like we just talked about, you got the weight jacker, you got the ARBs. As I say, you got lots of dials and knobs to be able to play with here.
Actually, I'll go throw on a limb here and I'll correct you. Jim Brooks is the highest climber, 6 spots.
Oh, yep, you're right, up to 15th position there. So, yeah, so he did not pit there. So we'll have to see how. I don't think that's going to really make any difference in the outcome of things right now. Obviously, still very early, but it's always fun to get off strategy, especially if you're towards the back already. So, however, now on this restart here, it's going to be up to Andrew Wood. He's got control on this restart. He can go whenever he chooses. And it's going to be up to the rest of the field to react accordingly as he's down and away. Now the rest of the field has to be very careful not to get that accordion effect on this restart. Oh, we got a big accordion effect. Whoa. Just as I talked about. Caution back out. Saying that's the risk of Indy, is so you get that kind of that stop start towards the back. And we saw there's a lot of cars copping this. So you can see, I mean, Craig Forsyth is in it as well. So trying to kind of take a look to see who all is in there. See David Leclerc, Jack Walsey. He just came to a stop, I think, to try to avoid this incident. As I say, they're still trying to get pointed in the right direction. You got more cars getting into one another. Let's see if I can try to find where this all occurred at.
It started with Alec Coates. He went and then he stopped, and it forced David Leclerc to go, and then they all stopped and started, and it just created a whole bunch of change.
Oh yeah, you can see the chain reaction started. It looked like it was actually right. Like you said, with Alec Coates, I think he was right behind Gary Corley, I believe, and then from there you can see just it all starts to kick off here. So I'm looking right here. I think the 51 of Jim Brooks, talked about him being the highest climber. I think he's going to have another good luck charm here, just sneaking by that. And then also Jack Wells, talked about him. I think Jack just comes to a complete stop here to avoid the contact. You see a few other cars here towards the back. Yeah, there goes Jack. Has a complete stop. You see a couple cars, a little bit too much rear brake. They have to avoid it as well. So yeah, so good reaction from those a little further back, not getting too aggressive there. As you see a few drivers trying to get their cars pointed back in the right direction. When you're missing tires and wheels, it's not very easy to do. So a couple quick cautions here. So we'll jump back alive once again, and we'll let things get sorted out here. So we'll step away for just a moment, and then we'll kind of regroup here once we get back to that one to go. All right, as you can see, lights are off on the pace car. So we do have a handful of drivers that had to hit pit road. They are back out on track now, but that's, you can see, that's giving us a handful of cars, one or more laps down. Right now, it looks like just 16 now on the lead lap. You got the 69 of John DeMatteo and Jeff Heisong, 1 down. And then you got David Leclerc, Craig Forsyth, and Joseph Morales, 2 laps down. And then Alberto Lopez at the moment showing 5 down. So, and then let's say wanted to check in to verify, but yeah, it looks like 1 faster pair. So a few of these drivers are going to be pretty much out of faster pairs at this point. So they're going to have to hope to keep these cars clean to the end. So say now, of course, this next question is going to be hopefully get a nice clean restart here. As you can see already a little bit of movement kind of midway through the pack. So you know that's going to make these guys a little bit nervous on this restart here. So hopefully they're able to kind of get it settled in a little bit better on this one, Matt.
Yes, sir. I want to see some green flag racing. The field is right in the hands of Andrew Wood.
Yeah, so he is down and away. And you can see just the delay it takes for these other cars to kind of get rolling here. So far, so good. Looks like all the way through the back, looks like we're going to get away with this one here. We're going to start now on lap number 10. Again, 120 lap race, so we still got 110 laps to go in this one. So I'll have to see exactly how it's going to pan out here. Say it looks like, I'm not sure, AJ Hobson might be having some, yeah, it looks like some connectivity issues for that 63. Saw him drop down the running order, but looks like everything's good there. But it's going to be Henry Bennett who's going to finally have an opportunity to use that draft, use the leapfrog approach. And looks like he's going to take the lead, entering 3, come out of 4. We'll see if he can hold the lead, or are we going to see Andrew Wood again be able to kind of do that leapfrog and get back to the front here going into turn number 1.
They are the good of friends in various assortments of leagues, so I expect them to excuse me, to run really well together.
Yeah, so the driver right now that's probably one of the tougher spots here is going to be that 13 of Ryan Kelly. So again, just going to be pretty much living in dirty air right here. And this is kind of a new place for him. As you can see, he's going to dive it to the inside, but he's going to catch the wash of Henry. He's going to have to roll out of it and fall back in behind Andrew Wood. So, and that's what you're going to see here a lot here, Matt. Of course, as you're well familiar with. I'll say the first 2 cars, you have a lot of clean air on the nose of the car. Obviously, you don't have quite the top end speed, but we'll say with you doing this leapfrog, it makes that 3rd car have a much more difficult time passing. As you can see, Ryan Kelly tries to make the move, but just doesn't have the clean air on his nose, has to roll out of it. Saying that's kind of what you run into here. And again, say there's going to be some drivers like I think right now Charles Teed. I think he's kind of playing strategy games right now in that 05 car. I suspect probably trying to run some pretty lean fuel numbers there, maybe mixture 3, mixture 5. Just hold on to the draft, but not get too aggressive here early on as he gets tucked in right behind Nick DeGroot.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. He just let Nick on by. Like I said, strategy. Now he's gonna let Tim Doyle, excuse me. I think you're right, guy. He's in fuel conservation mode.
Yeah, so he's obviously got to be a little bit careful not to lose too much track position. But right now, I mean, as long as you're within reach of these leaders, I think you're in a good spot there. But yeah, like you mentioned, though, say he's let Nick DeGroot by. Now Tim Doyle's the next one, trying to see if he could find a way around. Hasn't got there yet. But the thing that Charles has going for him now is you can see AJ Hobson's a fair bit back here in that 63 car. So he doesn't have to worry too much about any pressure from behind if he does let Tim on by. So that's going to be another thing to keep an eye on. As you can see, again, everybody's starting to kind of just dice around a little bit here. Looks like everybody's separated out to about the 51. Actually, I should say to the, I believe it's Jack Walls. Actually, no, he's leading the 2nd group. I'm trying to see who's the last car in this main pack right here on the lead lap. I think it's Thaddeus McMurray. He's in this lead pack here, but then it's kind of starting to stretch out a little bit to Jack Walls. You can see him just now entering turn number 1. So that's kind of built now. We've kind of got 2 groups going on right now. So about the top 13 on the lead lap, all within this main draft. But then 14th on back, a little further out of range there. So, but right now these guys again got to be careful with that dirty air. So you saw Jim Brooks get really close to the wall out of turn number 3. There's a much more room there out of 4. But we're going to move back up front because let's say the top 4 now are getting very close to one another here.
Yeah, I see Ryan Kelly still trying to look for a way to get around Henry Bennett.
Yeah, and he's going to learn it's going to be a very difficult thing to be able to do as he's to hop on board here with Nick DeGroot. So we saw Nick, he went for everything he could on that season finale to try to see if he could snag that win away from Henry Bennett. So he had the good strategy, just unfortunately, Henry able to make the field numbers happen, and as you were able to as well there, Matt. So yeah, so right now, Nick, I'm sure, probably adjusting. He knows what he was able to do there, maybe what didn't work and stuff. So he's probably able to make some adjustments as he peeks inside of Ryan Kelly. Ryan rolls out of it, lets him on by there. And you see Charles Teed very close to trying to capitalize on that one as well. So, but right now, we've got about the top 6 really close proximity with one another. AJ Hobson's pretty much right there as well. And they've got just a tiny gap over Ty Richter there in the 33 car. But right now, definitely the top 6 or so are all pretty much in quick succession here.
I'm looking at the chat and it says Jeff Hysong was giving the OL. I think maybe connection issues.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. So, unfortunately, you see that from time to time, and everybody tries to do the best they can to kind of manage it. But yeah, unfortunately, sometimes you have to kind of drop to the back. So, it's nice though when sometimes drivers will roll out of it, try to basically not put themselves in a bad position there. So, but right now, you see again, just right now, kind of leapfrog from these top 2. But I would not put it past Nick DeGroot to start playing. Putting his name into the hat here, try to have some fun with these guys as we saw him do in that season finale. All right, so Matt, these top drivers here, they have all yet to pit. The first driver to pit that's in this lead pack is that 48 of Thaddeus McMurray, who pitted on lap number 4. So again, not a big difference probably for that car in the 48 machine. But the question is, of course, with those yellows, we talked about the fuel window probably being in the low 20s if you're running full aggressive, maybe 26, 27 if you're being very fuel savings aggressive, if you will, like Charles Teed we believe is. So with those yellows, I mean, how far do we think these guys can go at this point? Maybe like 25 to 30 range for those that did not pit?
For the guys up front, like your Henry Bennett and Andrew Wood, I probably expect them to be on 28 to 30. Now, you guys like Thaddeus McMurray or like Charles Teed, who's been fuel conserving, I know he has been, he'll probably come into about 32 to about 34.
And this obviously something you can attest to. I mean, how much fuel are you able to save in these cars under yellows? Again, of course, you have the caution fuel map. Of course, also can run the long gears and you keep it in 6 and just kind of putt around. I mean, how much fuel saving are you able to do? Are you able to notice when you're under yellow compared to a normal green flag lap?
It's 2 to 1 for every 2 green flag laps is 1 caution lap. You know, the same as NASCAR. If you ever turn on a NASCAR and they ever, oh, looks like I don't know. There was a car there just passed. Is that a lap car?
Yeah, that was the 24 of Alberto Lopez. As a very similar looking to Henry Bennett there. So I did the same thing and took a kind of a double take there. So top 2 still holding station here with Henry and Andrew. But I think that did do is I think that's kind of changed the cycle now of who has the lead where. Because now you see actually Henry Bennett leading the field here, or leading this group here now down the backstretch. Whereas before it was on the opposite side where Andrew Wood was leading him at the start-finish line every time. Now I think that's going to switch over to Henry Bennett doing that.
Yep, they're trading the draft, trying to sort themselves out from the rest of the field, yeah, which I kind of don't blame them. I really don't blame these guys.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what you got to do if you're these top 2, I think, to keep the pace up. If you're Andrew or Henry, if you just follow the guy, that third car line, they're going to make a move on you. So I think that's what you have to do. You got to keep the pace of the race up like you're saying here. And I mean, the other question, of course, is how much are these guys looking at their fuel numbers right off the bat, too? Kind of thinking backwards from the start of this race. But, okay, if I come in at this time, then I can make it where, let's say, I've got a lap to spare come finish of this race. Because, again, here on the Indy Series, there are no green-white checkers. So there's no concern about having to save for that extra lap. So right now, everything's being calculated off the back of 120 laps here. So you have to wonder at what point are these guys already starting to maybe work those field numbers.
I see. I'm looking through drivers throughout the field. I'm looking at the 55 of Tim Doyle. I think them and Charles are doing the same thing, conserving fuel.
Yeah, so you can see they're not really putting any pressure on these guys up front. And say the question, of course, is how much are they able to save? And like you said, you can see Charles Teed, he's got a nice gap over to the 13 of Ryan Kelly. So I suspect, like you said, I think we'll see that the 05 car go much further than these top 4. Especially well, I should say the top 2. You never know with Nick DeGroot. He's something that's really good at saving fuel and making really good speed as well. So it'll be interesting to see what Nick's got up his sleeves as well. And what they are starting to do, though, they're starting to just sneak away from that 33 of Ty Richter. You can see Ty now about 1.5 seconds off of AJ Hobson. So if you're these guys behind them like that 23, the 10, the 7, the 51, you might be thinking, all right, we got to start pushing a little bit more, as we don't want to lose this lead pack here. So maybe we see these guys actually start to do that leapfrog approach as well.
Either number 1, I think Navari. I apologize if I sham your name. That and Ty Richter. That I think these guys should trade the draft, like what Henry Bennett and Andrew.
I think they're doing it right now.
It's the only way to do it.
Oh, nope, he rolls out of it. Yeah, you're right. I'm saying, and the lap times show it too, Matt. Right now, Ty Richter 41.15, Henry Bennett and Andrew Wood 40.95, 40.96. So basically 0.2 of a second slower than with them running single file versus doing the tandem drafts. I mean, that tells you right there the difference, and it's basically 0.2 of a second not using that tandem. So say do some quick math there. Up, and here comes the leaders here coming at lap number 24, coming in together. 24. Oh, Henry just kisses the inside wall there. We'll have to see if that's going to force him to maybe use a faster pair. And if that's the case, that's going to be it for him for the rest of the race. He'll have to keep it clean the rest of the way. Jim Brooks hops in with them. So that now moves Nick DeGroot into the lead. But yeah, it's like not quite as far as we thought they would be going here, Matt. But again, maybe they're looking at the field numbers thinking, you know what? It doesn't really matter at this point. It's if we go longer, it won't make a difference. So maybe they decide just, you know what, let's just pit once we're in that window to make it on X number of stops to the end. That might be the strategy that they're going for here, because here at Indianapolis, you can make a green flag pit stop without losing a lap, as here comes Ryan Kelly in the pits. I say he's going to be coming in from the 2nd position, and that's going to keep Nick DeGroot up front, but you can see that's going to bring now Charles Teed up into 2nd, and it's kind of going just how we talked about, where we kind of suspected that Nick would have a little bit more fuel in those guys. Then we suspect we'll see Charles Teed, Tim Doyle, and them run a little bit farther as well than Nick. As you can see, he's going to come out right behind Jim Brooks here. So this is where Jim's got to be a little nervous, not wanting to get put a lap down here, because you never know about when these potential cautions might fall.
You know, I almost thought Henry Bennett got a penalty, because he almost hit that yellow cone, but I'm not sure if that is a penalty or not.
Unsurprisingly, here comes the top 4, top 5 all together. A little bit of squirreliness there from Tim, but everybody holds on to it.
Surprises me.
But it looks like, I'm trying to see who's going to cycle out front here. So far, nobody's opting. It looks like it's going to be Jack Walls. I say Jack's usually Mr. Fuel Save in that 83 car, so he's going to cycle through to the point as the rest of those guys came through. And so right now you got Jack Walls, Michael Spell, Joe McAdory are the 3 that have yet to make their pit stops under green flag conditions here. And I believe that's all of them on the lead lap that have yet to pit. After that, it's going to cycle back through to Andrew Wood, Henry Bennett and company. So now it's going to be... Uh-oh, what do you see?
I think Nick DeGroot's got a speeding penalty.
Yeah, he's still sitting in pit road here, so I think you're right. Either unsafe entry or too fast on entry. So yeah, so he's still holding. This is a very painful hold, because it's a 40-second hold here, Matt, which is basically a full lap. So he might be right at the edge of being a tail end of the lap down, or right on the edge of just being the first car one down. So we'll have to keep an eye on, see where he cycles back out. But right now, keeping an eye on Jack Walls, Michael Spells. They still run right together here as they go back down the back stretch. So they're going again a little further here on 28 so far, whereas everybody else pitted around 24, 26. So say they've got 4 laps over the first 2 that pitted, and 2 laps right now over the second group.
Yeah, I can confirm that it was a pit entry speeding penalty.
Here comes.
Hopefully, we can get a catch caution.
Yeah, so he's going to have to be at the right time. So you see, here comes Jack Walls. That's going to put Michael Spell to the front. He's going to lead a lap in that 88 machine here. And so he's really stretching the field numbers out of that car. He last pitted on lap number 7 under caution. And then also Joe McAdory, he's yet to pit. Last pitted on lap number 8 under yellow as well. So say don't think it'll be too far away until we see these guys come in as well. Then it's going to be all about where do these leaders cycle out in relation to one another. So I believe Henry Bennett, Andrew Wood, they're right on top of each other. So the question is, are they too far away though for Tim Doyle, Charles Teed and company to chase them down? So we'll take a look at that once we get there. But again, Michael Spell still stretching the field numbers in that 88.
Yeah, I'm watching the compare where Tim Doyle is between Andrew Wood, and they're about a good second behind him, and they're going to have Charles Teed and going to have to swap the draft and make up that ground.
Yeah, and actually I'm looking at the lap times, and it is closing. It was a 40:59 for Henry, 40:72. Actually, this time though, it's a little slower for Tim. So you're right; they're right on the edge of trying to get to that number. Say right now, it's showing at about 2 seconds between Tim and Andrew. So. Do you need to mention, here comes Michael Spell. He's hitting pit road now from the lead, a little loose on the brakes, but able to hang on to it. So now that's going to cycle things back to Henry Bennett. And say we're talking about Nick DeGroot. There he is right in the middle of this battle here. And so if you're Nick DeGroot here, you probably need to think about either, do you want to be the first car one down and save fuel? Or do you want to try to get to the tail end of that lead lap, which is just going to make this group even faster though with the three of them, so we know how fast Nick is. But yeah, say right now though, that second group though, they're going to have to try to find a way to pick some speed up. But so far these last couple laps, it's been about a wash between these guys, still holding about that 2-second margin. All right, so while things are settling a little bit, Matt, we'll run through the field here to show where everybody's favorite drivers are. So obviously right now, top two, Henry Bennett and Andrew Wood started first and second, currently running first and second to kind of just depending on who makes the pass win on one another. In the third spot, you've got the 55 of Tim Doyle. And then right behind him, you see that car right there is a lap car going on by. Then in fourth, though, you've got Charles Teed here. Again, I think Charles working some field numbers in that number 05. And then right behind him, you've got AJ Hobson in fifth. So that's the top five, right? Kind of within about 3 seconds of the leaders, but then you got to go a further bit, about 6 seconds to the leaders to get to Ryan Kelly, who's with Jim Brooks here. I'll say these two right now running in 6th and 7th. Say they're going to have to do that leapfrog approach that we talked about to try to keep up with the guys in front. And then a little further back from them right now. So everybody's spread out pretty evenly here. You got Alec Coates. I say he's definitely in a lonely spot in that 10 car. He's got about 3 seconds in front of him, 3 seconds behind him. And that car behind is Gary Corley. And Gary's in a similar boat as well. So he's got nothing around him at the moment in that 7 car in that 9th spot. But he does have some help coming to him pretty quickly here. It's a handful of lap cars, actually. The 4 of them all a lap or more down until you get to 10th of Michael Spell in the 88 car again. Went the furthest on fuel and is about to pick up the draft here. So might be able to start saving some fuel again in the 88. And then you got the 83 of Jack Walls there in 11th. Then you got the 23 of Navarre Luce in the 12th position. 13th, you've got Joe McAdory again, a little bit further off the back of these guys. So saying, I believe Joe, right now, yeah, Joe, last car on the lead lap there in 13th position. And again, we talked about Nick DeGroot. Actually, Nick's decided to drop back off these guys, probably fuel saving, Matt. I say Nick in that 89 car, the first car, one down.
Yeah, looks like Eric's Finney's Choose champion and Jim are trying to swap the draft and trying to make it work, but they're about I'm watching the lap times here, and it's they're about 2/10 off compared to what the leaders are running.
Yeah, so that's just, I think, also a learning curve. I'd say for Ryan Kelly, what he's used to doing is kind of pushing that car in front. Obviously, you can't really do that with these IR18s. I don't think that'll go over very well, but I say this is kind of, again, I think kind of a trial by fire really for Ryan, just kind of learning as he goes. But I mean, to show where he is right now in that 6th position, it's a pretty good showing here early on for him. Obviously, still a lot of time left in this race, but right now, though, Andrew Wood and Henry Bennett, I mean, they're just putting on a clinic right here. They're drafting, they're, like I said, the leapfrog that they're doing. I mean, they're just doing everything perfectly right now and continue to extend that gap out to those guys behind him right now. So now showing 3 seconds off the lead for Tim Doyle. But I'm looking back, and I don't believe I see Charles Teed doing the leapfrog too, so that's going to, of course, also slow that pace down here. And they got to be careful about that, though, because last time by, Andrew had a 40.67 compared to a 41.07 for Tim Doyle. So, I mean, that's 0.4 of a second in one lap there, Matt.
Yeah, I'm looking at the fuel numbers here. Charles Teed and Tim Doyle, as they're running, I like where Charles Teed is. It looks like, if I'm correct, I'm not really 100% on this. Looks like about 3, maybe 4 more stops compared to Henry Bennett and Andrew Wood, which is pretty much burning 100% more fuel. They may have to take an extra stop, so it may pay off for Charles Teed here.
Yeah, so that's the thing is, like you said, I think Charles is going to have to be completely committed to the strategy for it to work for him. And so I think, actually, as I said it, though, he's actually ahead of Tim Doyle now. So whatever that strategy was, looks like they're kind of switching it back up now. I'll say now going back to
yeah, what do I know?
Well, so here's the next thing, though. I mean, we're going to throw another wrench into this because who's behind them of A.J. Hobson? AJ's been just cruising here in that 5th spot behind the 2 of those guys, not having to worry about that leapfrog, letting them kind of deal with it. And you can see, again, whenever you see that big gap to a car in front of you, you kind of feel like, okay, they're probably starting to do a little bit of fuel save. So I think right now AJ Hobson probably running a little bit of a lighter, leaner fuel mixture in that number 63 car. So I'd be suspect to see if maybe AJ also trying to run that long, because he also pit on the same lap as Tim and Charles here. So that's going to be very interesting to see as well. And then you're mentioning the 13 to 51 Jim and Ryan here. I think they are starting to get it a little bit better here. They're starting to run in the low 41-second bracket with their leapfrog. So I think they're starting to kind of get the hang of it. Ryan's learning again as he goes. So these guys making some good progress here. They're running quicker lap times than those behind them, but then running pretty similar lap times to the ones up in front as well.
Don't worry, he'll catch on pretty quick.
Actually, yeah, last time by, they were only a couple hundred slower than the leaders. It was a 40.96, 40.97 for Ryan and Jim, compared to a 40.90, 40.87 of Andrew and Henry. And even bigger than that was they gained half a second off of Tim and Charles and company there. So I'll say if they can just get a little bit closer, they could probably steal some draft off that car in front of them. I believe that is, I think, Alberto Lopez. They can steal a little bit of a toe off of that 24 car. That'll also kind of promote them way further up. You see Jim's get a huge draft here off Alberto down the front stretch. And I think that's going to increase that lap time even more here, as we'll see with his lap time. Yeah, 40.72 that last time by. So say definitely much improved lap time with stealing that little bit of extra draft for that third car.
Yeah, it looks like Henry Bennett and Andrew Wood, they got it down to a science. I'm looking at their lap time, and they are 40.80s, and that's pretty fast.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you've got 2 of the best in the league doing it with one another, and probably just the best with these cars in general too. And you got Nick DeGrue again. I think he's just kind of cruising, just saving fuel off these guys again, trying to go with a different strategy in that 89 car. Because right now he's sitting pretty as the first car went down. Of course, you always want to be on the tail end, so you don't have to restart behind all the lap cars. But in the grand scheme of things, if you can stay with the leaders, save a little bit of fuel, you never know where things will cycle out. But again, I mean, look at the intervals, though. It's now opened up to a 4-second lead between the leaders and the second group. And I think that's what Tim and Charles have realized. All right, you know what? We got to be a little more aggressive here to have a chance at this. But again, the one I'm watching, though, AJ Hobson, he's just hanging back here. I think, again, saving fuel as much as he can in that 63 car. So I would expect to see AJ go a little further than Charles and Tim here on this next set of pit stops, which isn't probably that far away here, Matt. They last pit on 24.26. We're on 42, so I'd say we talked about that low 20, so I'd say probably about, what, 46 or so.
46,
might be
48.
Yeah, so yeah, 46, 48 range. So say maybe, again, maybe we see some guys get to lap 50 possibly. But like I said, you're going to have to be working these fuel numbers backwards like a road course at this point, I think, for some of these drivers. But I'm still watching lap times too, and Jim and Ryan, again, 40.93 to the leaders, 40.94. So I mean, they're really picking it up here. I think they've really gotten it down as well with one another. Based on that, it gains them a 1/10 of a second off of Charles and Tim and company. And so let's see what they do this time around. And it looks like, again, yeah, 40.95, 49, only 200 of a second difference lap after lap there. So I think doing a really good job with that. So let's jump a little further back, though. We got Alec Coates, still a very lonely man in that 10 car, just about to catch the 24 here of Alberto Lopez. We'll see if maybe he can hold on to him as a friend for the rest of this run, but so he's starting to get under attack from Gary Corley, so you can see he's starting to bring a train of cars with him. But then you got, again, Michael Spell. He went the furthest of anybody there, went to lap 30, and then was able to tuck onto the back of this group here again, so probably saving fuel as well in the 88 car. So, I mean, you think about how he went 6 laps longer than the leaders. I mean, he's a fair bit back off the leaders, but, I mean, he's still within about a half a lap, and we talked about the fuel window, or the pit window, I should say, being almost, what, 3/4 of a lap or so, Matt. I mean, that would still put him, that would still cycle him out in front of the leaders should he be able to get one less stop than Henry and Andrew.
And it looks like Henry Bennett, I'm hearing over the radio here, Henry's going to come in this time.
Yeah, we'll see if he jumps up. Yep, there they come right together again. You see them, they space out with one another as well to give each other room. Andrew looked a little hot there.
I think that might be a little bit speeding penalty.
And you see, here comes Jim Brooks as well. He's on the same cycle as them as well. So the problem for now for Ryan is he loses his drafting partner. And so that's going to be a tough break for Ryan here. He's going to lose that little bit of speed that he had. That's going to cycle now Tim Doyle, Charles Teed, AJ Hobson to the front. But this is now, again, this is where I want to see how much further can Tim and Charles go. Is it still just a 2 laps? So do we see them at lap number 47? Or does it stand at 46? So say now we'll watch the pit line. And yeah, look at Andrew Wood. He's still in pit road here, Matt. He got too hot on entry. He's going to have a 40-second hold as well. Same as we saw for that 83 of Nick DeGroot. 89, I'm sorry, of Nick DeGroot.
Now this totally changes everything. And
yes.
all that with Tim Doyle and Charles.
And here they come. Yeah, Tim's in. Ryan Kelly's in. Alec Coates is in. So that's going to leave Teed and AJ Hobson. So Teed able to save a little bit of fuel, able to go 1 lap further than Tim was. Now I want to see, can AJ go maybe even 1 more than Charles here. So I'll have to wait and see as they come around. But again, the one that's going the furthest, though, again, that 88 Michael Spell. So I want to see how far can he go this time around. Again, went to lap 30 last time.
Man, I keep telling myself every time I get into a race, mistakes, mistakes, mistakes. Don't make them.
And you see Charles Teed still stays out. AJ Hobson still stays right behind him. Didn't you mention Henry Bennett? He is actually just about to catch that 64 while being a lap down, though, still, or tail end, I should say, of the 64 of Andrew Wood. So that could be a benefit for Henry here. If he can catch his draft, he can start to kind of do exactly what he was doing, keep that leapfrog going. That kind of puts Henry in the catbird seat, really, to be able to do that leapfrog drafting with a car not even on the same lap as you. So I think we'll see Charles Teed in yet. Here he comes. That's going to, again, though, AJ Hobson going to go further. So we'll see what AJ is able to do. Looks like Charles nice and safe on the entry here. AJ Hobson, he's going to take over the lead here on lap 48.
When it all cycles out, probably in the next 10 or 15 laps, I'm kind of curious where, wait a minute, I think I see Andrew Wood right in front of Henry Bennett.
Yep, yeah, so right now Andrew's going to be right on the tail end of the lead lap here. I'll say we'll take a look at it in just a moment. So we're going to keep an eye on AJ, see if he has to come in this time or can he stretch it a little further. Last pitted on lap number 26. We're on 48, so that's 22 laps so far. And yep, here he comes. So he's going to bring that 63 into the pits, which I believe will cycle it back to Michael Spell, who went the furthest of anybody. He's in a good draft again, too. But let's jump back to Henry Bennett, because, yeah, look at where he is, right behind that 64 of Andrew Wood, with Andrew being on the tail end of the lead lap. I say, if you're Henry, I say you are loving life right now where you are, because you've got about 5 seconds of that car behind you, and you've got one of your best drafting partners now, obviously, unfortunately, trapped on the tail end of the lead lap. But that just makes it all the better for you, because you don't have to worry about defending if this thing stays green as it is.
Now, if I was in the race car, I would use Andrew Wood there as a drafting partner. I would try to conserve as much fuel as possible.
And you see Nick DeGroot just came out right behind him, but not close enough, I don't think, to pick up the draft, Matt. Because that's the next thing. That's going to be now the Lucky Dog battle, possibly, is Nick DeGroot and Andrew Wood.
Yeah, you are correct, sir. He's trying all he can to get there.
It's going to be tough, though, as I don't know if he's quite close enough right now. I'm showing about 1.7 seconds between the two of them. What's the magic number for the draft of these cars?
1.6 to 1.4. If he can catch that a little bit of sniff of draft, he can get to him.
Say right now sitting at 1.5, 1.6 now down the back. But say with the tandem they're doing, I just watched it go from 1.59 to 1.65 just down the back stretch. So that's going to be the tough part for Nick, because he needs somebody to be able to tandem with. But again, we got to mention, here comes Joe McAdory. He's making his scheduled pit stop. Michael Spell, though, he stays out still. Matt, last pit on lap number 30. We're on 51 here, so that's right now 21 laps that he's gone. But he's been in a great drafting group. So, I mean, again, I think Michael might be in a position here to make one less pit stop than these leaders. It's just now it's going to be more about making sure he doesn't lose enough time to the leaders over the course of this green flag run to kind of make it a wash, if you will. Actually, here he comes now, going to be coming to pit road, coming to lap number 52, which will put it back to the hands of Henry Bennett.
I'm watching Nick DeGroot slowly catch the leaders, try and get his lap back.
Oh yeah, he's there.
Is definitely catching.
Yeah, he is there. So he's about to probably have one of the fastest laps of the race. I have a feeling. We'll see what the lap time is as he crosses 40:31 compared to Henry's 40:90, 0.6 of a second faster. Like you said, he is there. But now the question is, before he was content. He just sat and rode. Can he do that now? Because if a caution comes out at the wrong time, that could allow Andrew Wood to get the lucky dog and maybe put him having to take a wave around. Alright, so we see him caught up now. You see Nick caught to Henry. So we're going to go through the field one more time after this set of pit stops. So obviously Henry Bennett doing what he does best and just really doing a great job throughout the race. No mistakes thus far. And has a huge margin over Tim Doyle, 5.5 seconds right now, and Tim off on his own still. So now you go back a little further, you've got AJ Hobson and Charles Teed. If they work together, they can easily catch that number 55. However, right now they're about 4 seconds off of Tim here. And looking at the lap times, they were about... Actually, they're running very similar lap times. So I wonder if, again, you see actually Charles Teed, he's just cruising with these guys. And... He's not doing the tandem drafting, but what this is doing is you see Ryan Kelly, Jim Brooks, they've found each other once again, and they're making good time. They're not too far away from closing on Charles and AJ right now, showing about 2.8 seconds between them, but you can see right there, I mean, you can visually see it. So I think in a few more laps, they'll be able to pick up that draft and charge into that group right now with 4th and 5th. Then we'll jump a little back. I haven't talked about Gary too much. Oh, actually I said caution is out. I'm trying to see what it was for. And I think it might have been... Was it with Nick DeGroot possibly involved in that one? Because I saw it showed that he went off track for him. Actually, I think it may have been Thaddeus McMurray. Let me go and back.
No, Nick was not. He took the access road.
Okay, let's try to see if we can find exactly what happened where. Oh yeah, it was Thaddeus McMurray. Car just snaps on. I'm not sure. Maybe he had some previous damage or something before all this, but he just loses it there. I believe this is in turns 3 and 4, and then yeah, heavy contact the outside wall, actually right in front of the leaders. I think that's what you mentioned there, Matt. That's where we saw these guys, because look at the leaders come on by, just sneak through here, and yeah, Nick DeGroot has to go through the grass to avoid any contact there. So good heads up for him. So I say this is going to be a huge break for a lot of drivers, and the biggest two I think are going to be Andrew Wood. He's going to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. He was ahead of Henry when the caution came out, and of course that puts Nick DeGroot as the lucky dog. So that's about the best that you could have hoped for if you were Nick DeGroot there.
Yeah, what a huge break for Nick. A speeding penalty. You'd think that your race is over, and bam, caution, and the pit stops really did help him catch up back up to the leaders.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll see any strategy here. I think we'll see everybody in. I'll say the only downside, of course, is going to be, I think, the one that hurts the most out of this, I think, is Michael Spell. I think he was on a great strategy to maybe try to, like I said, try to run one less stop than these guys, because we're going to be pitting right towards the halfway mark of this race here. We'll probably be going to green just before lap 60. So as you see, there goes Nick DeGroot. He's going to get his lap on back. And then I suspect we might see some drivers opt to take the wave around here. We'll have to keep an eye on that as well, because I see a lot of drivers staying out right now. You got Jeff Heisong, you got Craig Forsyth in that group, David Leclerc. Because, I mean, right now, Craig, he's been 2 laps down, so he needs to try to do something to get back on cycle. And I'm looking at when they all pitted there. Craig actually last pitted on lap number 52, so he's in a pretty good fuel situation here. I think if you're Craig, you stay out, you take this wave round, and then you just save, and try to stay on cycle with the lead pack.
Hey, that's going to be very tough. Was it about, I don't know how many laps. What was your last pitted, you said?
Lap 52, and right now we're on 56. So it's only about 3 laps difference.
That's easy. I would take the wave round as well.
And actually, Gary Corley, he stays out in that 7 car. So a little surprised on that, because he last pit on lap 45, so he's got 10 laps fewer, or 10 laps less fuel in the leaders as well. So that's going to be interesting to see for Gary what strategies here. Maybe he was already in the fuel and felt good about it. However, Matt, we have a very important question from Jamie over here, as you know him as Muff Duff. What is the #1 all-time best Pop-Tart flavor?
My favorite, strawberry.
All right, going with the classic.
Yes, sir.
Toasted or room temperature? That's my own question.
Room temp.
All right. And so, yeah, so you see Gary is going to stay out. He's got 1 car behind him, and unfortunately it's gonna put them in a bad spot, because they're not going to be able to get that wave round, unfortunately. But let's say everybody else in front will. I'm trying to catch what car that is that's right behind him. Oh, it's Joseph Morales, unfortunately. So Joseph here, he's going to have to basically move over, let the rest of these leaders by. And yeah, so that's a tough break for Joseph. Thought he was in a good spot there. Probably didn't realize that Gary had stayed out. And so now he's actually, no, I'm sorry. He's going to stay in 2nd spot, because you don't have to do that until I think it's within, what, 10 to go?
Mm-hmm. 4 cars took that wave round.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, so you've got the 27 of Craig Forsyth. You got the 18 of Jeff Heisong, you got the 50 of David Leclerc, and I believe the 69 of Joe DiMatteo. So that what that does do, though, is that puts Jeff Heisong back on the lead lap, puts Craig Forsyth 1 lap down, puts David Leclerc 1 lap down, and I believe also John DiMatteo also 1 lap down. So now those 3 are going to be the 3 drivers battling for a lucky dog should another caution come out here before the pit stop cycle begins. And it sounds like you've made a wise choice on your Pop-Tart decision, Matt, because you've just saved your marriage with Muff.
Still love you, Muff.
All right, Matt, we're going to restart here on lap number 58. Gary Corley stayed out. He's got 10 laps less fuel than everybody behind him on the lead lap. Jeff Heisong, he last pit on lap 50, who took the wave round. 52 for Craig, who also took that wave round to be 1 down. So I say we're going to be a lot of mixed strategies here, but I think what we'll probably see is a lot of drivers trying to stay right up front, right off the bat. As you see, pace cars in. Now it's up to the 7 of Gary Corley. He's got control of this restart, and he is down and away. It's been a little while, so they got to be careful about the accordion, but looks like a very clean restart for the leaders here as we get back to green on lap 58.
Whoa, a little squirrely by Tim Doyle there. Woo! I thought he was getting ready to spin it.
You can see Henry Bennett wasting no time. He's going to try to see if he can get around that 77 of Joseph Morales. And saying also, I'm sure we'll have to keep an eye on these drivers further down the pack, because Andrew Wood, I'm sure he's going to be trying to make some quick work to get back towards the front. So he's already gotten around Jack Walls. That's the first car off his list. You see Nick DeGroot. He's going to try to come right along with him. He's going to work the outside of Jack Walls here through 3 and 4. And say he's going to have the high side. He's going to have the draft as well. So move Nick up a spot now as well. Let's say they've got a long ways to go to get back up there. But What I think we're going to see right here, though, is I think we're going to see some strategy out of that 007 now of Henry Bennett. He's been playing leapfrog all race long. I think now he's thinking, you know what? My biggest competitors, they're a fair bit behind me. I'm just going to save fuel as much as I can behind Gary until I absolutely have to go.
I wouldn't be too sure about that. I've raced with Tim a lot of years, probably about 7 years on iRacing and IndyCar. He is no slouch, as you would say. He's very good.
But the one thing that Henry's got going for him is he's got that lap car between himself and Tim right now with that 77 of Joseph Morales. So I think once he sees Tim make a move on Joseph, then maybe he steps up his ante a little bit. But right now these leaders are just kind of cruise control here. You can see everybody's got about a car length or so in between one another. But honestly looks pretty calm and orderly here up front here. So obviously still going to get a little busy further on back. Like I said, Andrew Wood, he's still trying to work his way forward. He just got around that 23 machine. Again, you're going to see, I think, Nick DeGroot kind of try to mirror that 64 car as well to keep himself up front, as well as we just crossed the halfway point in this one. So we were 60 down. We have 60 to go here. As you see, there goes the 89 car trying to work the inside. You can see Andrew Wood actually running the middle there. Really a big break for Nick here, able to give him some clean air, but now he gets into that dirty air there, has to roll back behind that 23 car. He's going to have to try to get it done once again.
You know, here's a driver we haven't talked about all race, Alec Coates. He's been slowly just staying in there in like the top 10, just creeping along.
Yeah, so he's working with Ryan Kelly right now, 7th and 8th positions for the two of them. Saying right now he's worked his way up there, so he's still, like I said, not where he wants to be as of yet, but is in a good spot here. He's got plenty of draft. Ryan Kelly catches the wall. You see Ryan going around here. This could bring out a caution. It does. I don't know if anybody got caught up in that one. I think it's going to be a solo incident there. We'll go back and we'll take a look. But yeah, unfortunately, saw Ryan just catch the wall off out of turn number 1 like we talked about. But those drivers that stayed out there and took that wave around, that's the perfect break for them to say it's unfortunate for Ryan, but it's exactly what they wanted to see happen. As we'll go back and we'll take a look here. You see Ryan already kind of sliding here, so let's go back a little further. So we'll watch Ryan Kelly here. Let me get back to his car. You see him just kisses the wall out of turn number 1. And then, yeah, just like we saw earlier, just sends him down into the infield. And then, so he actually catches it to avoid hitting the inside wall. But then at this point, he's just along for the ride. And look at Andrew Wood here. I'm sure a big pucker moment there. And the same thing goes for Nick DeGroot. Just squeezed by. You see both cars actually sneak around him. And even closer there for the 83 of Jack Walls. And we're going to watch that one more time, but I want to watch that from the point of Jack Walls, because that, at full speed, that's going to be very wild.
You know, that is the perfect example of having too much weight, Jack. You're going to have too much weight on my left front, and no dirty air to push all that. And what it's going to do is going to set that car off into self-spin mode. And it's just, the rear is just going to take off against the wall, and it's pretty much just game over.
And so we jump back live here. So I think the lucky dog here going to go to Craig Forsyth again. So he was able to stay in front of David Leclerc, John DeMatteo. So I think we'll see Craig get the wave around, get back on the lead lap. Craig is definitely one you don't want to give too many opportunities to. And we've got a little bit of gamesmanship going on. I'd say makes sense for Gary Corley to pit. You know, I see Tim Doyle in with him, but Henry Bennett throwing some fakes. He stays out, as does AJ Hobson, Charles Teed. Jim Brooks also stays out. So, but I think we'll be watching this 27 car. We'll get the wave around here. So we'll see if we'll see him probably jump to the top here and start making some passes. Yeah, there he goes. You see him working his way to the top here. Lap cars, our leaders moving over to let him on by. So that's going to put Craig 16 cars back on the lead lap. However, interesting call here. David Leclerc, he stays out here. Last pitting on lap number 45. John DeMatteo, he pits, so he's going to have a lot more fuel in that 69 car than David's going to have in that 50.
If only Craig had a couple more laps, he is my favorite picked to win this race, and too bad he got caught up in that lap incident. I just wanted to throw the commentator's curse, as you would say, on him. You know, he was my pick to win.
I was kind of thinking the same. I felt like Craig would be a good pick as well. So, but the thing is, I mean, he's got to keep it clean the rest of the way, but he's got a fighting chance still on this one. You see Ryan Kelly, he's taking his faster pair. He's back out on track. So he'll be able to get back into this one. Actually, you know what? Actually, he had a longer pit stop. Maybe he opted to try to see if he could get the damage repairs done manually. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. Let's see if the steering wheel, how it looks compared to some of our leaders here. So let's trying to see where it is, kind of off to the left, to the right a little bit. It looks pretty much spot on to Henry there, so it might be in a good spot on suspension. So I'll have to keep an eye on that as well. And you know what I think we got to do? We're gonna put someone on the spot here, get them off their game a little bit. So we're gonna pull in that 83 of Jack Walls here. All right, Jack. So that looked like a pucker factor there. I believe you stayed out. No, I believe actually no. You came into pit road, so that was 4 tires, fuel, and a change of shorts, right?
Absolutely. Hey, I've missed a couple wrecks there tonight.
Yeah, I say there's definitely been some. I say yeah, we saw one at on one of the restarts. You just came to a complete stop to let everybody else kind of go on by. So some good avoidance here early on, but. Say over halfway through, so you got 55 to go on this restart here. Say what's it going to take to try to get around some of these guys up front and get that top 3?
I think it's just going to take some patience, that's all.
Yeah, 1,000%. I'm with you there, buddy.
10-4, yep. Just taking my time, staying out of trouble.
All right, well, so I know where lights are off, so I'll let you get back to it. So good luck, Jack, the rest of the way. Like I said, still plenty of time left in this one.
10-4, thank you.
All right, yeah, I figured give Jack a little bit of a hard time. I say if you see a yellow car, chances are it's probably Jack. I say because if you see a yellow and black Pennzoil car, yeah, expect it to be Jack here. So that being said, though, we're gonna get back going again here, Matt. We've got top 7 cars did not pit there. 8th on back went ahead and pitted. And looking at the strategy, it looks like Tim went with fuel only in that 55 machine. And I believe Nick DeGroot as well in the 89 as well, fuel only, try to gain a little bit of track position, but also I think maybe tried that fuel strategy to see if he can get himself on a different strategy, or at least maybe try to even it up a little bit with those guys in front. So those are good. Again, I think those are going to be 2 to watch here to try to get themselves back to the top 3 like we saw them earlier.
If I did my math correctly, they still have about 3 pit stops remaining.
Yeah, I think that sounds pretty much spot on. I don't think there's any physical. Well, could you go 28 laps maybe?
No, you would have to do an extra lap. That'd be 29. You would not make it. I know by personal experience.
Yeah, I was like, because you see a little bit of movement towards the back. Looks like everybody's gonna get away with this. So hopefully everybody able to back it down, and not getting any penalties there on the restart. But do need to mention though, so we're gonna restart here, 55 to go. So it could happen. We don't suspect it will. But yeah, I think you're right though, Matt. Probably 3 stops to make it to the end, pending it being under green flag. However, I'm going to jump back to Andrew Wood because he is leading a gaggle of cars. We got Tim Doyle right behind him, Michael Spells right there. So these guys will have to try to get it sorted out here pretty quickly to kind of get spread out a little bit to feel a little more comfortable. But they're going to have to do a little bit of drafting again though, because you can see those top 4 drivers with Jim Brooks right now being the last of the leaders in that group. They've been able to pull. Oh, actually, Jack Walls, we just interviewed him. Say commentator's curse. We just talked about a heavy hit to the outside wall. I think that's going to be enough to have some damaged suspension for that car. So we pulled him in for an interview, and we did some pretty bad commentator's curse. So I should say I did some pretty bad commentator's curse there because I'm the one that made the call to drag him in. Jack, I am sorry, sir.
We love you, Jack.
So now the question is, hopefully he has a fast repair still in his pocket. Because again, I mean, if he can just limp this thing to the pits, maybe use that fast repair, maybe just get a splash of fuel, take the tires off. I mean, he'll still be in this. Might be either right on the tail end of the lead lap or maybe run on the first car's 1 down. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. The Lucky Dog battle, though, John DiMatteo, David Leclerc, they are right with one another here. So say right now, kind of the meat and sandwiches, that 13 of Ryan Kelly. So he's going to have to be careful with that fight. As Jack Walls does hit pit road here again, hopefully has that fast repair in his pocket. And yeah, I did indeed ruin his night. Muff, I feel bad for that. I said I'm telling you, man, I have a gift, and it's to ruin people's races by interviewing them.
Don't worry, he's done that to me.
All right, so now we watch though. Is he in and out quickly? He is. He's down away. He did take tires. That's going to slow that stop down a little bit, but I believe he's going to get out right in the back of this pack here. So say it's all not over for Jack. He's going to need some cautions to probably give him a little bit of a break here. But I say still a lot of time to go in this race. 52 at the line there. So we'll see where he cycles out, because if he can get out in the draft, that's going to be even bigger of an advantage for him. And then he's going to have to try to keep up with that 69 and the 50 cars to try to see if he can hold on to their draft and get back up there with them.
I think AJ's going with a little strategy game here. I like the call. Conserve fuel right behind your biggest competitor.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you look who's behind him. You've got Charles Teed there. You've got Jim Brooks there. I don't think these guys are really ready to make these big moves as of yet. I think they're all, I'll say, let Henry be the one to burn the fuel. Say again, it may not save you a pit stop, but it might let you take the couple gallons less than Henry. That could be enough to maybe jump him on track there. So, and also that might allow Henry to have to come out by himself as well. And that could, of course, change the outcome of this race, because we've seen how big the leapfrog is. It seems like about 2 to 3 tenths at least over single file running.
Yeah, I'm looking at Nick the Groot. He's trying to make that high line work, but even though he is trying to pass Michael Spell, and he's taking his line away.
I think I'm going with your guy you've been talking about a lot tonight right now, Matt. Tim Doyle pitted on lap 63, so he's got about 8 laps more fuel than the rest of these guys, and he's nicely in the pack here, 7th position in the draft, right behind Andrew Wood. So I mean, he's able to kind of, I think, has more fuel, able to work the fuel numbers. Again, maybe able to save just a little bit of fuel here during this run, take a little less fuel during the pit stop. Maybe that cycles him towards that top 2, top 3 once it comes crunch time.
Like I said, I don't think he's shown his true hand yet. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. I think, yeah, he's definitely got something still left in the tank. I think a lot of these guys, honestly, as you see, there goes a big move from Andrew. He's going to get under Alec Coates there. You saw Tim try to follow through, and then here comes, like you said, working the top side, Nick DeGroot. He's going to make a big move there, two positions through the 2 turns there, through 1 through 2. That's exactly what Nick was hoping to have happen there. He's going to jump up now to 7th position from 9th in just that 1 lap here. See if he probably try to see if he can steal a little bit more as well. Nick also one of those that pitted under that yellow as well, so now he is the furthest up of those that pitted on lap 53. Sorry, 63.
Yeah, I think Nick has, of course, burned more fuel than Tim Doyle right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, Tim is in a great spot. I like his chances right now.
Man, Nick is making that top work, Matt. You just talked about it. And I think what you're seeing here is everybody's rolling out of it, working the low line. He's keeping the foot to the floor there on the top, and he is making some big moves now, trying to work over Andrew Wood. Doesn't quite have the toe he needs, but I think we're going to see more of Nick running this top side. As I said, I think Andrew learned from it. He moves up to the top there. And that's the thing, is someone sees someone do it, they're going to do it themselves there. As you see now Andrew Wood starting to run that middle top groove, saw exactly what Nick was doing there.
Yeah, that move there kind of won me the race here last year. It's very powerful here, especially with this setup, especially in clean air. And now Nick is really taking advantage of it.
Yeah, you see he's able to get around Jim Brooks. Now he's going to make a move on Charles Teed. And you see Nick's going to try to follow along. He's going to have some draft this time, he's going to have to fall in behind. But it does let Nick get around Jim, so that's going to move them both now into 4th and 5th, respectively. And again, though, I'm watching Tim, though. I think Tim is just, like you said, just kind of playing the patience game right now. I don't believe anybody really topped off on the 1 to go. Craig Forsyth, he did go all the way to laps. He pitted on lap 64 compared to 63 with him getting the wave around. So I think actually Craig, Matt, we talked about being tough, maybe not being realistic to do, but I mean, can you go from 64 to 120 on 2 stops? Or sorry, on 1 stop, I should say, right?
That is a very good question. Actually, I would have to do some math right about now.
So that would be a total of 56 laps. So you split that in half, that's going to be...
That's actually...
28?
He can actually do it.
That's going to be tight, but...
He can actually really do it. I'm not joking.
Alright, so that's going to be the next thing. So we're going to keep one eye on Craig, one eye on the rest of the leaders, because we think up front, we think it's going to be a three-stop race to the finish. Whereas maybe Craig can pull a two-stopper off if I'm doing my numbers right here.
Yeah, if he can do 28 laps, he'll be the lap 121, excuse me. And that's being ultra save, super save mode pretty much.
And I mean, I think that's what we're seeing. I mean, he's still sitting in 13th. I haven't seen him make any big moves right now, so I'm going to be watching Craig. I mean, right now he's in a great spot here. He's following the 50 of David Leclerc. So he's in a nice little draft pack. He's got Ryan Kelly behind him, but he hasn't been really forcing any issues. I'm sure he's had the opportunities to make passes. So yeah, let's keep an eye on Craig. Let's see how far can he go on fuel. Because, I mean, maybe even if he has to take that final stop, if he can just do a splash of fuel, because right now he's only 3 seconds off the leaders. I mean, think about how much fuel you can save on a late pit stop. Here goes Nick. He's going to try to work the top here of Andrew Wood. Oh, he has to roll out of his. I think Andrew got the arrow push, and he knew if he stayed in, they were going to have contact there. But these two, again, you know they want to find their way to the front, and they have been doing so. But again, though, the other thing we talked about right at the beginning, haven't talked about since, Henry Bennett. They have not been doing the leapfrog with him, so Henry has been pretty much just leading this train this whole way here. AJ Hobson working some fuel numbers, Charles Teed working some fuel numbers. And I say with him last pitting on 55, I believe we'll see him actually with those cautions. We should see Henry here in pit road very shortly.
It's just going to be turned out to be very interesting race. See if Tim Doyle can make it. See if Craig Forsyth, see if he can make it. But him being, I just don't know.
It's very intriguing.
Close.
Andrew Wood, though, he doesn't care about the field numbers. He's just going. He wants to get back to the front. So he's, I think, and the thing is, that's going to be a danger for some of those guys that might be trying to save and go real aggressive on the fuel save. Is say, oh, see, there goes Andrew. He's going to try to work over Henry. I think Henry here wants to let him by, knows what's kind of going on here. So I think we're going to see, again, we're going to see Andrew and Henry continue that tandem draft with one another as they come through turn 4. Although, do we see Henry peel off? We do not. So that's going to now put Andrew Wood somehow quickly. Oh, we got a bunch of cars shaking around here. Oh, we got one up into the wall. I think that was John DiMatteo. It is heavy contact. However, no caution. Don't know if anybody else had any instance or any involvement in that. That's going to separate themselves a little bit, unfortunately. Let's go. I'm going to go back and try to see what happened to John here. So, oh, he catches the curb on. He catches the rumble strips on and at a turn 4, and you can see him just drifting the car, trying to catch it, but in the process of that, just drifts it straight up into the wall, catches the outside wall. But I believe nobody makes contact with him here. We'll watch Craig Forsyth. Craig just ducks inside of him. Ryan Kelly to his outside. And so, yeah, so everybody able to get through there cleanly. So we'll jump back live here, because we do have some pit stops. Henry Bennett is in. He's got Jim Brooks. He's got Alec Coates. Somehow, though, Andrew Wood, he can still go a little further, even with all that the passing he was doing during that run.
If I did my math correctly, and then the Craig Forsyth to make it the rest of the way, he's got to make it to lap 93. And then we'll know our answer.
Alright, so we'll be watching Craig again, like I said, see what he can do. Well, see, here's Andrew Wood and Nick DeGroot. Yep, here comes Andrew. He's going to bring, I believe that's AJ Hobson with him. And as AJ's going to take the cone out of the way there, just move him over a little bit. But I say it shouldn't be any penalties there, so I think that's just a speed cone. You see also Michael Spell in pit road. So that's going to put Nick DeGroot now to the point. He pitted on lap number 63. Charles Teed, he's been saving. He pitted on 55. Right now they're right together. But you mentioned Tim Doyle. He's also still there, pitted on 63, I think, trying to save some fuel. And then we talked about the 23 car a little bit. Haven't talked to him about him lately. He also pitted on 63 along with Jeff Heisong. He's still out there, so a lot can happen here. So I'm going to keep an eye on the pit road here to see where they all cycle out along with one another. as Charles Teed hits pit road.
Yeah, I'm kind of afraid to say his name. I really don't want to sham his name.
So I'm going to jump back, though. I want to see Henry Bennett. Yep, look where they come out right together again, Matt. Henry Bennett and Andrew Wood come out right next to one another one more time. So that draft party is going to continue for them. So that's going to be tough sledding for the rest of the field here because they've been able to separate themselves from Jim Brooks and Alec Coates by about 2.5 seconds here. So we'll have to keep an eye on Nick DeGruz. Actually, you see Michael Scull right in front of him. Here comes Nick. He's going to hit pit road now. That's going to cycle Tim Doyle now to the front here as we've got now 38 to go at the line.
Getting close to that fuel number.
Actually, I should say 37 at the line.
Oh, actually, okay, Tim does have drafting help.
Yeah, Tim, I think he rolled back. I think he's let these guys in front of him kind of lead the show. So I think Tim, again, I think he's going back to fuel save. So yeah, I'll say I'm curious about Tim. I'm curious about Craig. But we have a few. I mean, we got Tim in the 55. We got Navarre in the 23. We got Jeff Hysong in the 18. You've got Gary Corley in the 7. Then we got Craig Forsyth in the 27. Say all these guys have that potential possibly to stretch the fuel. Ryan Kelly, Joe McAdory as well. So right now we've got the top 7 drivers on track. All have the potential of making some big fuel numbers. As we're going to see, Nick DeGruz just came out. He is right with the leaders. He's been able to cycle back with them. So now we got a 3-car battle up front for those that did make their pit stops. Charles Teed, he's fallen into the clutches of Jim Brooks and Alec Coates. So we got 2 3-car packs right now. But again, right now, top 7 drivers yet to make their scheduled pit stop. Here comes 2 right now, though. Here comes Jeff Hysong. Here comes Gary Corley, Ryan Kelly. So these 3 are pitting here on lap 86. This is at 35 to go, so not far enough to make it to the end. So again, still watching Tim Doyle. I think Tim's in a really good position here. Also the 23 of Navarre loose. Also in a good spot. Craig Forsyth, he is now unfortunately in really tough sledding, Matt, because he's lost all his drafting help. He's 2.5 seconds to these guys. So basically for Craig, if he rolls back to the guys behind him, he can try to save some fuel. But otherwise, I say this might be a tough spot for Craig here.
Yeah, if I was Craig,
And here comes Tim, here comes Navarre, and here comes Craig as well. So they're all pitting here, Matt, coming to lap number 87. Also, I believe, trying to see who that is. That's right behind him, hitting pit road. That's going to leave Joe McAdory, though. Joe's stretching it further than all of these guys. Right now on lap number 87. But at this point, it doesn't look like that 2-stopper going to be, or I should say, well, actually 1-stopper, I should say. Doesn't look like that's going to be realistic.
Let's see if Tim, Craig, and all them soon catch some draft.
So yeah, so right now it's pretty much Andrew Henry and Nick. Sorry, trying to pick up names while I'm watching people that are in a good position. But actually, look at Tim Doyle. If he can get out here quick, he could just tag onto the back of the guys. I think he's gonna do it here. If he can stay with these guys, this could be a game changer for Tim here, Matt, because then he needs less fuel in these guys up front, about 3 to 5 laps less. So then the next question is, how far do you go? Do you pit once your window's open, or do you run this as far as you can?
Navarre is so close to that draft. He can sniff it.
Yeah,
right
it looks
on
like
the back of Tim Doyle there.
Yeah, Tim is definitely good. Tim's got these guys, so he's in a great spot. I say what Navarre and Jeff and company do, they got to start doing that tandem drafting. Also, Craig Forsyth, he's right up with these guys as well. So there's a good number of cars here. So now it's just all about making the best lap times you can. Actually, here comes Jeff Hysong. I'll say these 2 working, I think, trying to work with one another. It's Joe McAdory. He hits pit road for his second to last stop, I believe. But now up front, though, let's say it's going to be Henry, Andrew, Nick, Tim are the top 4 here. So you see the distance behind. It's right now about 2.2 seconds, so they're not in that window to pick up the draft from these top 4 yet.
You know, before long, I think we might see a 10-car party for the win.
It's going to take some effort. They're going to have to really get aggressive on the drafting, because right now, those last couple laps, they've been slower up front. Charles T now leading that group. He ran a 41.17 to their 40.93, so about 0.2 off. And that, remember I was talking about 2 seconds, now showing about 2.8. So unfortunately, they just aren't able to kind of cooperate with one another to make the lap time that they need to. So they got to try to figure out what's the fastest way around this track. Or on the other foot on strategy calls, again, what about short pitting? I mean, what do we think about trying to maybe pit once you're in your window? You just take that splash field to make it to the end. Say maybe you get out in a nice little draft group there, and then say maybe that puts you in a good position. So I think there's a lot of opportunities here, but right now though, based on outright pace here, this group behind just isn't doing what they need to do to catch Tim.
I fully expected as soon as seen Jeff Mysong and Charles T, because we all worked together in the Lionheart series. I know they're in chat together, and they're in full communication. I know they're going to trade the draft to each other.
Yeah, it looks like they're definitely doing that now. So we'll keep it on lap time. Still a little slower for them to the leaders, about a 1/10 off. But so now I'll say again, my question is going to be though, Matt. I think if you're going to try to win this race, I think you gamble. I don't know who's going to be the one to make the gamble, but I think someone's going to have to try. I think a fuel only stop. I don't know if it's going to be maybe once you hit your pit window, or if it's going to be kind of run it long and then take a splash. I'm not sure what the tire wear is looking like, but I think you try to find somewhere where you maybe can do something different, kind of break the draft, and try to see if you can keep in front of them till the very end.
My first train of thought would be if I'm no more than probably about 8 seconds behind the leader, I have a chance to, as soon as my window is open, I go in, duck in, and do a fuel-only stop. And hopefully, if you catch a caution, since there are no green-white checkers in this series, you are pretty much set.
Yeah, so it could get very interesting to see how it's all going to shake out. Like I said, right now, top four have kind of slowly but surely stretching themselves away from that group on fifth on back here. Like you said, Jeff and Charles are doing everything they can, but right now just don't have what it takes. As I said, it's going to be pretty tough to compete against a duo of Andrew and Henry. We know how fast they are week in and week out, and they've worked with each other all night long as well, so it's not a surprise to see them as successful as they are right here. But the ones I'm watching, and now Nick DeGroot, Tim Doyle, they pitted later than them, and they've also just been cruising here, saving fuel. This is where I think they can pull a little bit of strategy. Do Henry and Andrew, do they need to maybe look at either taking tires with fuel, since it's going to be probably a longer stop, or do they do fuel only? So there's just so many strategies that could come out to play here. But like I said, it's going to be more, I think, about when to make that stop, and I think to play it safe, probably about what, 22 to go would be right in the window for just, if you're full rich, that's as far as you can go.
Like I said, I really don't expect these guys to come in and change tires. I really just see fuel only and just go on.
All right, so we're thinking fuel only final stop.
I've seen Nick do that before, but Nick's going to do it. He's going to take that risk. He's going to take that gamble.
And I think Tim is in probably one of the best spots to make that gamble too. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. So actually noticing that further back, looks like a little bit of change up front here. It looks like a little bit of connectivity. You should see Craig Forsyth. He's jumped towards the front of this group now. I think he wants to try to stay within touch of these guys as well, because Craig, he pitted on lap 86 along with the 55 of Tim Doyle. So like I said, I think Craig's also one that, even if he can't maybe get out in front of the leaders, maybe him taking a short stop, that could get him at least to the leaders. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm ready to see. I'm really going to be intrigued to see who's going to be the first to blink, basically, to make that final stop.
Yeah, I'm just quite curious why Craig Forsyth and Charles Tito are running side by side for like the past lap and a half.
Yeah, so this is not doing them any favors on lap times.
3 wide. Nope, Jeff backed out of it wisely.
But you're right, though. I mean, that cost them about a half a second here. So they gotta again kind of just try to work with one another instead of trying to battle each other here. Do kind of get back to what they were doing with the leapfrog approach and everything. So Now they get back going, but you mean look at the gap now. It's almost 5 seconds to them off the leaders. So, yeah, so it's just, yeah, there's just unfortunate, like I said, just the duo of Andrew and Henry, they've been just beasts right now. So, like I said, my question is going to be the pit stops. Do you wait until the top two pit? Do you pit with them? Do you maybe try to short pit them? It's just, we know how much you gain with the tandem drafting. Looks like it's, again, probably about 2 to 3 tenths of a second. So yeah, so just it's gonna be very interesting to see kind of where everything shakes out here.
I'm really watching how Henry Bennett and Andrew Wood are doing it. It's just work of art.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with experience and talents and everything. And I mean, yeah, like I said, the way they time it is just Andrew hits him just at the right time to easily make the pass, and then like I say, there's just no drama. So it looks like Craig and Charles, they've kind of cleared themselves up, so they're kind of going back to what they were trying to do earlier. So we'll see what their lap times look like this time in relation. Yeah, 40.99 to a 40.92, so they're only about 700s, I should say, off. So that's what they're looking for, is something more along those lines. But yeah, right now though, I mean, again, I think right now it's going to be a 4-car race, unless something crazy happens at the closing laps of this race. And we're approaching that number, Matt. 23 to go here, going to be coming to 22 to go. Do we see anybody blink early?
I'm waiting to see who's first to blink, because we are, yep, like I agree, it is getting close to the fuel number. Lap 100, who's the first to blink?
I mean, my thought is going to be, if you're somebody in this group here that's saving fuel, like right now in this group that pitted late, you have Craig Forsyth at 86, you have Navarre Luce at 86, Jeff Heisong 85, Ryan Kelly 85. Those guys, in theory, should need less fuel than the leaders do. So, I mean, pit once you're in your window. You can make it to the end, and then maybe also with the gap that you had to leaders, maybe you tag on to their lead draft as well. So, but right now, saying, oh, here comes Charles Teed. He's going to make a late call here. Hopefully gets it slowed down in time. Oh, it's not going to work. He's going to heavy contact the wall, probably also too fast on entry. Say Charles went for an aggressive move, but unfortunately it isn't going to work for him there. So we'll see where he comes out. But yeah, unfortunately, that last pit stop there, a little bit of a mistake from the 05.
He does have a fast pair under his belt. I think I'm hearing over the radio. I think Henry Bennett is coming in.
All right, so now what do we see? Does anybody come? Does Andrew come with him? Do they try to go maybe stagger themselves? Nope, they go a little bit almost of a fake, it looked like there by Andrew.
Yeah.
And here comes Craig Forsyth. Here comes Jim Brooks. They're going to come along with him. Looking at Charles Teed, a long pit stop, so I think he's too hot on entry, so that's going to be a pit penalty for him. It looks like Jim and Craig are in safely as well, though. So now this is crunch time. And I said this is where it could make all the difference. You see Andrew trying to break the draft here of Nick DeGroot. Doesn't want him to get track position during the pit stop cycle. So now the question, of course, is if you're Nick here, when do you come in with Andrews? I suspect we'll see Andrew most likely in this time, as we saw him just one lap later last time around. So we'll watch him. Yep, here he comes as well. That's going to leave Nick out here with Tim Doyle. He's going to also be bringing in a few more. It looks like Jeff Heisong, Alec Coates in the pits. And then looking at pit stop time, 8.4 seconds for Henry. So to me, that's a 4 tires and fuel stop.
Wow. I'm kind of curious to see what Nick does.
And you see Nick trying to steal a little bit of draft off of Jim Brooks there, get as much speed as he can right here. Again, Tim Doyle, I think, going full fuel save in that number 55 machine as well. So yeah, so right now this is going to be where the strategy comes into play here. Also going to have to see where the 007 and the 64 come out in relation. Yep, here comes Nick. It's going to leave Tim out now to go a little further. He's got Jim Brooks there with him. And I believe, actually, it's a great pit stop by Henry. He's going to lose. I think he's going to lose the draft of that 64 of Andrew Wood here. So this could be definitely a game changer as well here, because right now Henry's got a couple seconds over Andrew. Looks like about 1.7 seconds right now.
Okay. Nick is taking tires.
Yeah, you're right. 4 tires and fuel. He is down and away. And as he exits pit road, you're going to see Henry Bennett jump around him in just a moment here. But actually, it looks like a pretty good pit stop, though. You're going to see Henry come around right there as he comes out of turn number 2. And he's going to lose also the draft. He's got to try to compete against Jack Walls. He's going to sneak by him. So now it's going to be up to Andrew and Nick, I think, to work together here to try to get back up to Henry. Oh, I have a chance. You saw Andrew make a lunge there. That was close.
Don't worry, Nick is Guy Henry's draft. He's well in range.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 1.2 seconds. That's probably why he was so aggressive to protect that spot. But you see Andrew doing everything he can, wants to get around there. He's going to now make a move here. However, we're going to go back up front, though, because right now Tim Doyle, again, he still stays out in front here. Lap time still pretty good, actually. 40.44 that last time by. And again, he's been one that's been saving this whole run. Went a lot longer than those guys in front of him. Maybe Tim is our fuel-only strategist potential.
Yeah.
But now the other question, Matt. Do you pit here because you know that you're at risk here because the later you... Oh, a little bobble as he catches the rumble strips there. But I think Tim needs to pit here because the longer he waits, the potential of a caution comes out. That could really put him in a tough spot as he's going to go around the 18 here of Jeff Hysong. These guys are kind of all cycling through the pit stop cycles right now. But if I'm Tim, I think you pit here sooner than later because you just don't want to lose too much time to the leaders here.
If I was Tim, like we've talked about before, I would probably gamble and take that fuel-only strat.
I'm in agreement there. Say Henry, Nick, and Andrew, they're all back together. One thing to note, though, is Henry's been running in the 41-second bracket. Last time by, Tim ran a 40.68, so he's actually been gaining time even while he's in this position that he's in. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Is he might be actually gaining time on Henry as this is all going on. Although this last time by 41.11, not the lap time he's looking for, but it looks like he's kind of playing this ultimate fuel strategy here as far as he possibly can.
I think he's losing more time right now than he's ever had now. Time to pit.
Yeah, I mean, you see up front here, you've got the top 3 all back together again. You've got Henry, you've got Nick, you've got Andrew. Now, Nick in the second position, that's why we saw him fight so hard to stay in front of Andrew there. And so, again, they're going back to the leapfrog approach, and they've been running in the 40.9 this last time around. So, yeah, so I'll say for Tim, though, again, stays out here in this time by. It's a 40.93, so not too bad compared to Henry and Andrew. So, Tim might be onto something here, Matt.
Yeah, as you mentioned, and look at the lap time, he actually was faster. You're right. We'll see. This
is going to be interesting. I'm surprised that he hasn't pitted as earlier than he has, but again, maybe just trying to do something different. I think at this point, if he's playing this game this far along, I think it's up. Here he comes. Let's say this is going to be the crucial point now of the race here for Tim. He needs to make sure he gets down to speed. Looks like a nice clean entry here. So now the question is for Tim, Matt, are we thinking fuel only splash? Are we thinking 4 tires? I mean, I'll say there's a lot of opportunities here. The problem is, though, I'm looking in front of the leaders. There's nobody for him to draft off of should he try to do a strategy of fuel only.
You know what I'm thinking.
All right, he's in. Nope, car's up. He's taking 4. So now the question is, where does he come out in relation to the leaders? Let's say he's got to get here down and away. He's moving. The leaders are just coming down the start-finish line, crossing the pit lane, or start-finish line now. We'll look out the back here of that number 55 car. It's going to be close. I think he might get right into this battle here. I don't think he's going to hold on to the lead, but he will definitely hold on to this top 4 lead draft here. Actually, yeah, it's going to get dicey here.
3 wide, as I expected.
Yeah, I say they're going to put him right in the middle, but this could actually work out for him. He's got slightly fresher tires here. He's going to need to try to hold in front of Henry. Can't quite do it here. So we've got now a 4-car battle for the lead here. Nick DeGroot, Henry Bennett, Tim Doyle, and Andrew Wood, as we're going to come across here with 11 laps to go.
Man, this is going to get exciting. I'm quite interested to see what Nick can do against Henry Bennett. I know Henry has gotten the best of Nick, and I know Henry. He's a very good driver, and he's really hard.
It's going to change everything right now. We have a caution. Jeff Heisong, I believe, had an incident. Let's go back. Let's take a look to see what happened to Jeff here. So this is going to get very dicey now.
Oh, he just looped it. No. Yeah. Too much weight jacker.
So I'm trying to find Jeff here on my ticker. There he is. Yeah, you see Jim looking to the inside of him on the front stretch. We'll watch it as we go through. Oh yeah, it just snaps on him on the entry there. Like I said, maybe it was set up for dirty air, and then once he caught that clean air, that car just got angry. But I actually see some I saw some contact, I think, a little further back. I think possibly with Ryan Kelly. I'll have to take a look there as well.
Oh no, my boy Ryan.
I'm gonna take a look. I saw some nose cone or some front wing parts. I thought kind of go flying there. Yeah, Ryan Kelly actually missing some front wings, so this actually could be a huge break for Ryan as well here. So let's go back and take one more look to see now what happened to Ryan.
He ran in the back of Alec Coates.
So we'll pick up the speed here. Oh yeah, you see Alec move to the inside, moves back to the top there, like you were saying. And then, yeah, Ryan just gets into the back of him. You can see knocks off the end plate there of the wing. So, yeah, this caution actually a huge break for Ryan Kelly as well, because otherwise that car was not going to go much further here. But I think he's going to get away with that, can get a front wing replacement and still stay on the lead lap. So, let's jump back live here. Everybody's going to pretend like they're going to pit. Nobody's going to pit. I think the first car we'll probably see pit is Ryan Kelly. Possibly Jeff Heisong as well. But yeah, so well, we're gonna have a sprint finish here, Matt.
It's gonna get exciting. I have my pick is still there. He's running 5th right now.
He is, but I think it's gonna be tough to gain too many spots. I think from about 4th, 5th on back, it's going to be tough sledding, I think. So I think Tim, Andrew, they're going to have to really take advantage of some momentum on this restart. I think we're going to see a lot of aggression here early. And that's going to be, I think, the next thing also is to protect that track position as much as you can. Let's say they're not going to be as friendly now about that kind of the leapfrog, if you will. I think we're going to see a lot more protecting going on. Yeah. But I think we've seen from Nick DeGroot, I'm sure a lot of drivers saw him making those big moves on the outside. And they're going to take note of that and say, okay, we found something that we're going to have to do to make our way to get to the front if we can.
Yeah, the time for friends is over. It's we're getting to the pay window now.
Yeah, exactly right. I'll say that's the thing. Again, I'll say we had our $10 for the pole sitter, which tonight was Andrew Wood. And then, again, $60 for our winner, $20 for second, $10 for third, if my numbers are correct. So obviously everybody's going to want to try to get in those top 3 positions, so it's going to get dicey here. And we're going to go right back to what we saw at the beginning too, Matt. These guys got to be very careful not to get caught up in that accordion effect on these restarts. Alright, Matt, lights are off. We're going to restart this thing with 7 to go. And I say it's going to get very close to that window where one more caution, this thing could finish under yellow. So I say these guys are going to need to try to, I say obviously they want to be aggressive, but they got to try to make sure that they can make it to that white flag to then race it out to the checkered. Like I said, there are no green white checkers here on the Indy side of things. I say keeping it accurate to what they do over there as well. So lap 120, that's going to be the finish. It doesn't matter if it's under green, if it's under yellow. So say that's going to be the first goal for these guys, is to get it to that lap 120 mark. Ideally, get that white flag under green flag conditions, and then from there, kind of no holds barred to the end.
Yes, sir. I'm just really excited to see who can win this thing. It's been great up here commentating with you on the Indy side of things, knowing and sharing my knowledge. No matter what, it's been a pleasure up here with you.
Yeah, always fun to be able to share the booth with you, be it here, be it the Super Speedway series. I'll say we've had a lot of fun with these ones, but so you're gonna be back to business next week. I'll say you've got a championship to go after, and say you've been watching your competitors, so maybe learning a little bit from them, and so hopefully be able to put it to use in these next couple of weeks here.
We're getting ready to go green here.
Yeah, here we go. So Henry Bennett again leads the field. He has control on this restart, so it's up to Nick DeGroot to try to be as quick on the draw as he can. Waiting for Henry to gun it here, and so far Henry waiting a little longer. I think that's a strategy call. That's not a bad one here, but that's going to keep these guys very close together. I think that's exactly what Henry wants to do, is he wants to keep these cars locked onto one another, let them fight each other so that they don't fight him.
Great restart by everybody there.
Say almost 3 wide.
Almost 3 wide.
All right, so coming out of 2, this is where the momentum really starts to shift here. As you see, Nick's going to jump to the outside. Andrew's going to jump to the outside. We're going to go 3 wide down the backstretch to see a couple cars, I think, getting collected, but still no caution further back. 3 wide through turn number 3. Now back to 2. It's going to be Henry Bennett on the inside, Nick DeGroot on the outside, and then you got, I believe that's actually Tim Doyle here. I thought that was actually Andrew. I'm sorry, that was Tim here. But right now we're going to cross the line. We got now 6 to go. And at this point, it's anybody's guess.
Yep, there goes Nick back to the old favorable outside line.
Yeah, he's trying to get some big momentum to give himself a lot of drafting room here. Down. Oh, we got one down on the apron.
Oh, my own! Oh, I'm surprised no yellow there.
There's the yellow. Unfortunately, I think it was for Joe McAdory, unfortunately. Not sure what happened to him, but I don't know how those leaders... We'll have to see if anybody made contact, but that is probably what Henry was hoping for, not what anybody else wanted to see. But yeah, looking at the front wings, everybody looks okay. But man, what happened to Joe McAdory there? That was in a bad spot here. I think it actually happened fairly earlier on.
Andrew Wood got a piece of that.
Yeah, you see Joe here, heavy damage to his car. But I think then maybe tries to limp it back to the pits. But yeah, so we'll have to take a look. So we'll keep an eye on Joe here. Yeah, tries to loop it around, trying to limp it back to the pits. Let's say at that point in the race, probably a better call to try to just go ahead and take a tow here. But unfortunately, I was in a really bad position there. So let's say we'll go back up to the front here. We're going to watch from Andrew Wood, because it sounds like he may have got a piece of this one. So we'll watch from Andrew. We're going to watch it at speed to kind of show how fast this is going to pop up for him.
Yeah, I totally agree there, Gael.
So you can see him kind of down on the low side here, and you see everybody moving, and oh, just the last second, yeah, I see a little bit of a touch there, but I say the car kind of fixes itself. But yeah, let's look at the front wing. I think Andrew may have gotten away with that one, Matt. There was initial contact, but I think that car's looking okay.
Oh, from my point of view, it really looks like that he just took off his front tire, but I have...
Yeah, no, I saw the front tire pop off, and then that's like kind of how iRacing is, especially with the new damage model. I'll say sometimes you'll see things disappear, then come back again. So it looks like, I mean, he's staying out, so I mean, that kind of tells, I think, what we're going to see here. And I'm looking at where we are right now, Matt. We're at 4 to go. I think we'll probably get kind of an unofficial green-white checkered, if you will, because I think we'll probably get the 1 to go at 3 to go, which will give us a restart on 2 to go, if I'm not mistaken here. You just saw Charles Teed get waved around and say, unfortunately, things did not go well for him. But he does put him back on the lead lap here, Matt, so I'll say Charles could definitely capitalize if things kind of go haywire on this potential last restart of the race. So hats off, though, to Charles for sticking out. I'll say we unfortunately never want to catch the mistakes, but unfortunately caught that pit mistake a little bit earlier on in the race. Went for a strategy call, just unfortunately got a little bit squirreling, caught the wall, but he's now back into the thick of this as well.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We've seen a lot of speeding penalties and mistakes on pit road today. Hopefully, this race here will clear out the bugs that everybody had a nice little 4 weeks off and get ready for the first week.
Yeah, so like I said, yeah, shake off some cobwebs, shake off a little bit of rust, some nerves, you know, and then get ready to get back to business next week. For the season opener next week, I say we've got a lot of racing going on as well. So I'll say it's going to be now 4 nights a week here over at Area 51. Sunday nights will be the Xfinity Car Super Speedway Series over there. And so it's going to be this one's going to be started broadcast on Max Speed TV. Monday night, Next Gen Cars also on Max Speed TV. And then Tuesday, of course, we got the Dark Horse Racing Area 51 Series here on Green White Checker TV. And then Thursday will be now the Super Speedway Truck Series as well. And that's going to be here as well on Green White Checker TV. So we got 4 nights of racing, 4 nights broadcasted. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see. Yep, Matt, lights are off on that pace car. We're going to have a 2-lap shootout.
Oh, man. I expect a lot of defending from Henry Bennett.
Yeah, I mean, we saw last time Henry went very late there because you don't want to give that big momentum shift to the 89 or whoever's behind you. So that's going to be the question now. Does Henry do the same? Does he? I mean, how do you shake this up to give yourself the best chance? I mean, I feel like you want to keep it like he did last time. Keep it, wait late, keep it bottled up with everybody, kind of get them fighting each other. Maybe let you sneak away a little bit.
You know, I really don't think that outside line, when he got more toward the front, that looked like that outside line did not prevail as much as we know and used to.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, it's not gonna be for lack of effort. I mean, we're gonna see Nick, we're gonna see Tim, Andrew if his car's up to the task. Craig Forsyth, Jim Brooks. I mean, they're gonna be going after this one here. So it's gonna be a lot of fun to see what these top 5 have in store, top 6. But yeah, I'll say Henry Bennett, though, I'm sure he's going to feel like he's in a very tough position here on this restart. I'll say this will be the final restart of the race. If we get a caution coming out before we get to that white flag, that will finish it under yellow. So I'll say Henry, of course, hoping this thing stays green. You see him staying down on the inside line here. We'll do the same thing as we did last time. We will hop on board. We'll look out the back of that 007, listen in, and we'll see what the strategy is going to be for Henry Bennett here. He's going to go a little early here, so you can see right away, 89 car try to pick up a little bit of a draft. Looks like a clean restart throughout the back. This is going to put Henry in a very dangerous spot, though, Matt, because that 89 car is going to have a big head of steam here down the back.
He also does have a hungry Tim Doyle.
Yeah,
excuse
and I think that's what Henry's doing. He's trying to work the draft to keep them fighting each other so they can't fight him. You see, yeah, Tim has to roll out. He can't get around Henry Bennett here as they go into turn number 3. As they continue to fight here side by side through turn number 4. Oh, Nick just clears there. So he's going to grab the draft here. It looks like we will get the white flag here. Here comes Nick. He's going to jump to the top. Tim right behind him. Andrew there. Craig there. Say it's all to play for here.
Can he clear him? No, not just yet.
So this is where I say Nick's going to have to try to work the top, get some momentum, but he's going to... Oh, Tim just clears Tim. He's going to try to peek to the inside here. Now we got the drag race down the back. He's going to again try to use the draft, try to get to the outside here. We'll see what does Tim do. He stays in line.
I expect him to run him tight there. Now it's going to be a drag race. Nope.
All right, he's going to stiff a little draft.
Nope, now he's got a little momentum there, Gaio.
All right, here we go at the line. Who's it going to be? Oh,
did Tim get that?
I think Henry gets the win as they all end in tears at the finish. I'll say my interval is showing 0.00 between Tim and Henry. Nick DeGroot 1/100th off the back, but those will be the top 3. It looks like it's going to be Henry Bennett, Tim Doyle, Nick DeGroot will be the top 3. Andrew Wood 4th, Craig Forsyth in 5th. Unfortunately for Henry, won't be able to do any burnouts to celebrate, as it looks like all these guys are going to be having to go to some backup cars for the rest of the season, because these guys looks like they're all going to be finishing up on wreckers here. All right, let's go back. Let's look at that one more time, Matt. Coming to the checker there, because that was close.
Unofficially, that is 0.004.
It was close. There's no question there. All right, so we'll pick up the speed here a little bit, and then we'll slow it back down as we get towards the checkered here. So say Henry protecting the inside, doing a really good job of keeping them fighting each other. You see Nick steals just a bit of a toe off the back, but then you got Tim's able to steal some draft off of both of them, then jumps to the middle here. And I'll say as they come down the front stretch here, coming to that yard of bricks, we'll try to time it here if I can. Yeah, there you go. Looks like Henry Bennett gets the win by pretty much just the front wing of the car over Tim Doyle, then about pretty much just another front wing to the 89 of Nick DeGroot, and then Andrew Wood. So he didn't really have anywhere to go, so he just stayed on the bottom side there. But man, what a finish with these guys. So let's see if any of them pop in for some interviews right now. Doesn't look like anybody's joining in. And then you see the AC Andrews give Henry a little bit of a bump draft there at the end. That's why we don't bump draft with these cars, because this is what happens afterwards. Alright, so Henry Bennett getting the win here tonight at Indianapolis. So we're going to keep an eye. Yep, there we go. Say we'll pull some people in here. Say we'll see who we can get tonight. So I'm going to grab Nick DeGroot, Matt. We're going to start off with him. Well, Nick, it wasn't an easy one tonight. So you kind of had to work your way back up to the front. Let's say after the little bit of a pit miscue there. But man, I mean, take us through first off, working that top line. I mean, you're one of the few that were moving up where there was that clean air, and I mean it worked. I mean, you gained a ton of positions doing that.
Yeah, it should not exist, but I'm thankful it does, because I love using that high line. Just like you said, it's a great way to get out of that dirty hair and just get a run on people, because everybody's fighting over that white line, and they're all getting stacked up, and they're all checking up, and of course they're just stuffed up behind each other, so there's no clean air whatsoever. So even though it's the longer way around, that top side can just work here. And yeah, we were making moves. So I was so happy when we got that caution, because I'm like, that's all I wanted. I wanted a chance. Just get me back in the lead lap and we'll see what we can do. And it was really fun driving up through that pack. It made for a really exciting race.
What were your thoughts when you came down pit road and you got too hot, and then you had that never give up attitude, and that's what I like in a driver. What was your train of thought then?
My first thought was, I hope I don't go a lap down. And then when I did, I was on the mic. I'm like, is there a free pass? Because I wanted to know if I needed to be fighting Henry tooth and nail and Andrew, or if I should just chill. And thankfully there was. So I just kind of hung up behind him and waited for that caution and saved a bunch of fuel, and we got it. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, my mistake. I probably need to stop doing that, because I did that at Michigan in the Final Four last season too. So I need to work on my pin entries. I need to practice them a bit more.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Then I was saying, of course, then over that course of that run, then we saw Andrew, same thing. He gets that pit penalty, and then then you kind of get that worry of like, okay, what was the thought process when you saw Andrew kind of in that same situation where it's like, okay, if Andrew's tail end, then I'm good. If Andrew's behind Henry, then I'm in a bad spot. Like, was that something that you were playing with, or was that just kind of fuel still your main thought?
I was just focused on really saving fuel. I thought for a moment, should I fight this? And I'm like, no, he's spending about half the lap in front of him, so it's like flipping a coin. Let's hope the yellow falls when he's in front of him. And we were lucky. That's exactly what happened. So it all worked out.
I've got another question for you, Nick. During the last couple of laps, I was watching you, and you were taking a much higher line than Henry there. I was wondering if you were catching so much momentum if you were holding him tight on the bottom. Was that really hard to keep it there next to him there?
Yeah, I could have kept it next to him, but we would have just stalled out, and I think Tim would have beat us both, which is kind of still almost what happened. But yeah, my thought process was just go wide, try to get a big run, as big as you can with Doyle there right behind me. Can't let him get next to me. So I was just trying to use as much track as possible to just build up the momentum, and it almost were coming to the white flag. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what I need to do on the last lap, but coming to the checker, it just did not pan out, and we got stalled out and ended up in a epic 3-wide finish with 16 1,000s between the three of us.
Yeah, it was definitely a wild finish. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to watch and yeah, to be able to broadcast. So you guys are definitely setting the bar high for what we have to expect for the upcoming season as well. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see what all of you guys have in store for us, because we know it's going to be a hard-fought one again. I would suspect again we'll see plenty of you and Henry and Andrew, Craig, Matt, and probably some other guys joining the party as well there. So, but before we let you go, Nick, first off, again, congrats also. $10 in your pocket there as well, getting that third place tonight. And definitely want to give you the floor here. Any thanks shots you'd like to get for that run tonight?
Yeah, as always, Factory Back Motorsports, motorsport.com, Cowboy Shit, CobyMoore.com, Blaze Pods, all the other .coms, and if I missed one. And yeah, just it's fun to race with guys like this, because you can race hard, you can race close, but you can race clean. And that's what we had there between Tim, myself, Henry, and Andrew. It was just really awesome racing. So I look forward to more of that this season. Should be fun.
Don't forget, I'll be there.
Yeah, and you, Matt.
Yeah, first you're going to talk to your shop guys, because you've got some cars to repair. It looks like a wild finish there at the end. But yeah, just awesome job though, Nick. Looking forward to next week. See you guys battle it out for the points.
Yes, sir. It's going to be fun. See ya.
Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, always.
All right, Matt. So unfortunately, don't see Tim Doyle in the Discord. I think he's kind of new to the league and everything. So we'll jump straight from our third place finisher to our race winner. That's going to be the 007 of Henry Bennett. Didn't get the pole position tonight, but I think he'll be okay with that because he gets the win here tonight. I don't know what the conversion rate's going to be, Henry, but no, we'll let PayPal figure that one out. But just what a race! I'm pretty sure you're probably feeling pretty good at one point there when you see the mistakes happening by Nick and Andrew, and you say you still got them with the draft to be able to kind of keep your pace up. But you know they're not the challenge for the win at that point in the race. I mean, what was going through your mind when things were looking almost too good to be true there?
Yeah, at one point in the race, I think me and Andrew had like a 5-second or 4-second lead over Tim, and Andrew made his mistake, and yeah, it all looked really good then. And I was just praying for it to stay green and not to be able to maintain that 5-second gap to get the win. But it was less than halfway through the race, so it going green the rest of the way was always a long shot. But yeah, once we got into the shootouts at the end, it was anyone's race really. So yeah, really, yeah, I'm still shaking a bit now from the the adrenaline at the end of the race there. But yeah, it's really happy to come out on top of that one.
I've got a question for you, Henry. Toward the last couple of laps, this is the same question I asked Nick. Him and Nick, if he was run close to you side by side coming to the line, would he catch more momentum, or because it looked like Nick was when he was pinned up against you, he was catching momentum, but he was running that very higher arc into the corner.
Yeah, I think two things there. Running the high line, I'm sure you know, you get more momentum off the corner, but obviously you're running a further distance. But I think your question is like, are you getting drafted by running against someone's side pod?
Correct.
And I think you are slightly, but it's very difficult to pull off without actually wrecking on that coding into the other car.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun to watch. And so the other question, of course, is that you had two late restarts you had to go, kind of trying to manage. To say the first one we saw you go pretty much the right as the green flag flew. I'm guessing mostly to try to keep everybody kind of pinned together to not allow that big run. But then when that caution came out, you had to do the second restart for that final restart. What were your thoughts? Did you feel like, okay, I can't do the same thing twice because they'll be ready for that? Or I mean, what's the mindset on going through things like that?
Yeah, I think you just need to keep everyone guessing. Like you say, if you let them get a good run on you, then they'll one of them, or even two or three of them, could be past you by turn 3. So if it was to do a normal restart and go around where pit entrance is, they'll get such a good run, and yeah, I could almost be in 4th by the end of that restart lap. So yeah, just keeping them guessing, and yeah, like you say, if I went on green again, then they'll be expecting that. So just trying to do something different, and it works to a certain degree. They didn't get quite as good a run as if I took a normal restart. But yeah, I was surprised on that last restart that Nick didn't get me, because it did look like they both had a pretty good run, Tim as well. So yeah, I was surprised I was able to hold the lead on the bottom there.
Yeah, it was definitely a wild one, a lot of fun though. So like you said, it was definitely a tense one, I'm sure, for you and Tim, Nick, Andrew. So it was definitely pretty much anybody and everybody had that great chance, especially coming to the checker there. So yeah, just awesome job though tonight, Henry. Obviously a great way to start off kind of the preseason before we start the regular season next week, defending your season championship, of course. So yeah, definitely want to give you the floor though here for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for that win tonight.
Yeah, well, thanks to Jim and everyone for putting the league on. Yeah, putting this special on. Yeah, I hope it was a good show for everyone. Yeah, thanks to you guys for broadcasting. Yeah, I'd love to see both in the race as well. Had a lot of good races, both you and Matt. I think last time we were at Indy, it was a close one between me and you. But yeah, thanks for broadcasting, and yeah, look forward to watching later. Yeah, shout out to Andrew, I was in a chat room with, and we were talking strategy through the entire thing. And yeah, if any of the restarts went wrong, I was going to blame him. So, but they went fine. So shout out to him.
I appreciate that shout out. But hopefully the next time right now we're 1-1 in Indy now. So hopefully we can break that tie next time around.
You won the big one though, the 500.
Yeah. But the Area 51 one is pretty special to me, and I would like to win that one.
Yeah, so you got plenty of opportunities, I'm sure. So we'll definitely be, I'm sure, plenty of racing going on over here at this track. So, yeah, say Henry, enjoy it. So yeah, try to get the adrenaline knocked out a little bit. That way you can hopefully get some rest before you start the day again over there. So I know very big time difference for you. So it's again just the dedication you have is amazing to see. It's really cool to have you be a part of this league as well. So. But yeah, just enjoy this one, man, before you get back into the game face mode for next season coming up next week. So yeah, enjoy this one, man, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week, sir.
Thanks, guys. Look forward to it.
All right, Henry. Good luck at Iowa.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Matt, that is our race winner in that 007 of Henry Bennett. Let's pull up our final race results here tonight. Yeah, like I said, 0.004 of a second, Henry Bennett over Tim Doyle. Nick DeGroot 0.16, so just a base of 100th there off in 3rd. You got Andrew Wood there in 4th, and Craig Forsyth, Jim Brooks, AJ Hobson, Alec Coates, Ryan Kelly, and Navarre Luce in the top 10. And then Jeff Heisong, Charles Teed, Gary Corley, Michael Spell, rounding out our lead lap finishers. And unfortunately, some that are multiple laps down tonight include Joseph Morales, Joe McAdory, Jack Walls. Jack, I'm sorry. I know that was all me. As like you said, no more race interviews on you. And so I'm not going to hype you up either. Every race you're going to be having a terrible race. David Leclerc in the 18th position. And the remainder of the field here, you got John DeMatteo, Thaddeus McMurray, Alberto Lopez, Ty Richter, Bob Fitzgerald, and William George are the 24 drivers taking part in tonight's race. All right, Matt. So you see a lot of cars going to be needing some backups to get ready for next week. So hopefully these ones are throwaways because those cars are toast. But yes, Matt, appreciate you taking part in the booth with me this evening instead of on track. But it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to see what you're able to do with these guys for this next upcoming season here starting off next week.
Yeah, that's a little season preview of things to come, and a lot of tough competition out there. Like I said, Henry, the win tonight. It's nothing unusual to see him up at the front, at the end. That and Andrew Wood, they are both animals here. And I'm not going to count out Charles Steed. He had a great run tonight until that speeding penalty. Like I said, I am really looking forward to the start of the season.
Yeah, so like I said, I think we've got a solid probably at least 8 to 10 drivers that can really challenge for wins week in and week out. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see. But I say the only way to find out to see who wins these races is going to be to stay tuned. So again, really want to thank all of you for joining us here on Green White Checkered TV. Also, of course, got to thank everybody at Dark Horse Racing for being a part of this, and of course, as well, ESTV allowing us to be able to broadcast this on multiple platforms, say YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and of course on your Roku devices and other devices. Always be sure to check them out as well. Again, it's ESTV. Matt, it's a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you on track next week. And I'll say, go give him hell, man.
Yeah, I'll try and give him hell. Hopefully, we'll see Steve back in the booth. He's a great asset to you. He's a you're a great sidekick, and I kind of miss him.
No, I think I'm his sidekick. Yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. I say, figure give Steve the night off, let him rest up before we get busy with the full season. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Definitely looking forward to being a part of it again with you guys. And everybody watching, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week. Let's say season's going to be kicking off here on Tuesday. And of course, like I said, we got racing on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and on Thursday nights between broadcasts between ourselves here at Green White Checkered TV and Max Speed TV. So keep an eye out for those. Until then, though, have a wonderful evening, and we'll catch you guys on, I believe, Sunday. So take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody.